Discovery, go at throttle up. Discovery, go at throttle up.
How you guys doing? I'm back. I'm refreshed. Just playing that song that I got stuck in my head, you know. What's going on? Great, now it's in your head. Well, it's a good song. It's not a bad song. This guy this guy rocks. Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, hopefully it doesn't, because we have the trucks and the Starbase Live stuff, it doesn't throw off anything too much. Tune them fingers. Yeah, metal, my hand is not working how it should. Guitar's in tune though, I think. It's getting there. It's struggling. I have no idea what that song is. This one? I'm procrastinating because I don't want to. I don't want to do this space news. Is that bad? Okay, we'll settle in. Very bad. Is Ryan joining us today? He asked, and I told him I don't think people want to talk about Starship updates today too much, dudes. Well, I got the camera working, so it's all right. Fake EJ was in the way. So, yeah, I had a feeling people didn't want to talk too much about it. Same hat. Yeah, it is the same hat. Yeah, see? It's the same hat. Dude, this was like 2016 or something. Yeah, it's been a bit. Hey. All right. Oh, my hat! Oh, my hat! You were so young and vibrant and youthful. And Frau, you look so bright. All right. And you had hair. You can't tell in that picture. So
Discovery.
what do you want to talk about? We got an electron launch in a couple hours, which is good. Creeper did give me a bunch of links. Let's see what Creeper got. See if there's anything good. Anything good? Mm-hmm. Oh, we got an Ars article. All right, let's we'll transfer all these links and keep going. Oh yeah, the budget request. Yeah, it's transferring all the links, and then we'll start the Space and Rocket review. I'm a professional, I swear. Made some good work on the car today, dudes. I was pretty happy with that. I am pretty happy where we're at. Pretty good. Okay.
Discovery. Go at throttle.
Such exciting news coming. Yeah, I know. It's so exciting. Aren't you happy? All right. So we will start Space News with a story. Paul, I got to do it for Space News. I told a bunch of people to come back for Space News so we could talk about it, dude. I'm gonna have to. It is what it is, man. It's okay. I'm in a good mood. We made some good work on the car today, dude, with you guys' help. We'll get that leaf spring perch off tomorrow morning, and I have to buy some leaf spring shackles soon. Pretty sweet. I saved one of them, but we're gonna need another one because we are rapidly approaching the point of drastic reassembly, and I'm really happy about that. Only joking. Right. This weekend gave you crippling depression. Oh, did it give you osteoporosis? Okay, so here's your story time. I helped my neighbor fix his cousin's car. Yeah, I helped out over the weekend. It was just a dead battery, not a big deal. So I was up in the middle of the city fixing a battery, right? The guy was like, "Oh, what's wrong? I think it's a starter motor. I hit the starter motor with a hammer." I'm like, "Your battery's dead." I brought a multimeter and the jump pack. Your battery's dead. So we went and buy a new battery, put the new battery in. Bree's with me because we want to go for a ride, right? Interesting. No, not the grumpy neighbor. Did you get one with a go handle? No. The car didn't like that. That Kia didn't want one with the go handle. I got the one that was the best for the job.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
So it was the cheapest. I didn't buy it, so whatever. So we replaced the battery, and my neighbor's cousin was like, "Dude, I gotta take you out. I gotta take you out for lunch. We gotta take you out for lunch. You can't just come here and fix the dang car." He saved me a call to the mechanic. I'm like, "Just need the battery changed, dude. It's not a big deal." He's like, "Yeah, but you came all the way up here." So I'm eating in a 99 restaurant on Route 3A in Hingham, Massachusetts. You can go look it up. And my phone starts blowing the frick up. Dude, did you see this? Dude, did you see this? Dude, did you see this? No! Dude, did you see this? Oh my gosh, no! I have crippling depression. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? What the heck is going on? Well, what was going on is that the White House pulled their pick for NASA administrator. They pulled Jared Isaacman as their pick. No, I don't want to go. Ah! Oh, God! Oh! I'll turn the filter back on. Anyway, so my only question is, what's Jared's next step? Do we know Moon or Polaris or something else? We'll figure it out. No, I don't want to go. No, I don't want to go. Anyway. So, first of all, I didn't believe it. It wasn't until Rook posted that I was like, I didn't believe it. And I was like, no, there's no way. This is just bullcrap. No, it's not. The White House pulled their nomination for NASA administrator after clearing the Commerce, Justice, and Science Committee 19-9. Jared's vote basically would have been today. So, space Twitter exploded, which was pretty funny. I was like, these people are mad. And, rightly so, guys. I ain't going to sit here and pretend like this is a good thing. It's not a good thing. That's not cool. That's a really... seemingly at this point in time, as of June 2nd, 2025, that was a really bad idea. Now, rumors I heard this morning was that he didn't have the votes. Interesting. So, I don't think I've ever seen Space Twitter so united. Jack said it best.
Oh, this is space. I'm in space.
I read that thread. I don't... That's the way that Jack can conduct himself. That's not the way that I'm going to. It just shows how much of a joke the system is. Fellas... Is it bad if I'm not, too incredibly pissed off about this? Don't get me wrong. It sucks. But, now, hear me out. Hey, Audio, thanks for gifting 5. I appreciate that, man. People are probably going to unsubscribe after what I'm about to say, but now that I put that out in the ether. So, hey, Gil. DJ just driving in. Miss anything embarrassing? Oh, no. I just licked rust off my hand in the first part of the stream for $28. It was great. You were so much more mad about Viper, and I can't understand why. This is so much more. Guys, look. Viper was bullcrap, no doubt. And this is bullcrap, too. That's ridiculous. Come on, the vote was supposed to be today. Give me a freaking break. Why did this happen? So I started thinking about it, and I know what most people are going to default to. Sure. It's just, president doing president thing. Yeah, maybe. But why? I started thinking about why. Like, why? Why would you do this? Why? Really, why? We've only heard rumors so far. There's been a couple of rumors here and there. Nothing particularly concrete in my mind. Eric Berger had a couple of sources, and Eric Berger's sources usually are good. He said it's infighting in the White House. Fair. CNN also said infighting because after Elon left, they went after, because they had disagreements. Elon had disagreements about things with politicians. What most likely happened there is that Elon was thinking logically and politicians were thinking politically. I'd see that. That's a fair scenario in my mind. I wouldn't rule that one out. But I kept going back to thinking, Rares, what you were saying. Maybe he didn't have the votes. Maybe he didn't have the votes, guys. It's possible. That's a possibility. That could be a possibility for the infighting. Now think about it for a second. You don't have the votes. People aren't going to vote for you. Why? Well, the president's budget proposal guts NASA completely. Nobody in Congress is going to vote for that. And nobody in Congress most definitely won't vote to nominate a NASA administrator that's going to carry that crap out. The last time we did that, Constellation got canceled. Congress ain't going to repeat the same mistake, especially if there's a lot of money involved. Think about it. Food for thought. Am I wrong? So you could say infighting, but I refuse to believe that, like, okay, so just they did it because they didn't like him? No. No. If he doesn't have the votes, then you're kind of boned. And no one's going to vote for a NASA facility to leave their congressional district, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, right? He had R&D votes locked up. You seem sure of every single senator. Elfish? I don't know how you would possibly know that information, but all right. Cool. Any comment on NSF Contents Manager's cross post? Opinions are his own, GS, dude. I don't do that. I don't conduct myself like that, but if anybody else wants to conduct themselves like that, that's fine. I prefer to stay straight. Like, it takes a lot to piss me off like that. I'm not gonna go off. What does that do? That doesn't help. It certainly doesn't improve my particular reputation for a news source. I like looking at things logically, despite stuff that does piss me off. Viper pissed me off, and I kind of let it show. Oops. Forgive me. I mean, I'm not perfect, right? Senator Kelly said on X that they had the votes. You sure? That's what I mean, dude. That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. And guys, I don't want to talk about Jack. Whatever opinions are his own. It's right in his profile, right? If that's how he wants to say stuff, that's how he wants to say stuff. He's still my buddy. He's a good buddy of mine, and I'm not going to talk crap about him behind his back, especially not in a public forum like this. Not that I ever would. Now, with that all being said, guys, there's this whole thing reeks. We could say it's infighting. Maybe they didn't have the votes. It's possible. Like, there's no way to really tell. There's no lie that people didn't like Isaacman being there. From the Senate confirmation meeting, it was a pretty damn straightforward thing. Now, it could be infighting. It could be infighting because they don't have votes. But there is a third one. The people that were dissenting opinions about Jared Isaacman's Senate Commerce, Justice, and Science confirmation meeting. There were dissenting opinions. One of the senators on there is from my state. There were dissenting opinions trying to dig into a potential conflict of interest. My only other thing is that they found one. Think about it. Can't push forward with the vote. You push forward with the vote even if it passes. If there's somebody brings up a conflict of interest, you're kind of screwed. President wants to carry out his agenda, right? He wants to do that whole thing with space, right? Maybe they found something. Maybe he didn't divest fully from Elon or something. Who knows? But that definitely was a point of contention in the Commerce, Justice, and Science Committee meeting. Now, once again, none of these, guys, are explanations. I have no idea. And the crappy part is that as taxpayers we'll probably never know, which is stupid. And if you want to pick a bone with not knowing that, I would very much agree, right? I don't think conflict of interest is a great concern. It only is if you have dirt on somebody in politics. That seems to be the game with politics, Arsenal. Would you disagree? Could also be that Isaacman wasn't happy with the proposed budget either. That would align with proven Rule 8 behavior. That's correct. But the budget given doesn't... See... Remember, so first of all, guys, remember that budget hasn't passed. It's a budget proposal. It's a budget proposal which basically screws NASA out of like $4 billion or something. We'll look at it a little later if you want. The major claim before 7-4 posted their article had to do with White House insiders pushing him out due to a dislike of Elon. I'd believe that. Yeah, I'd believe that. I think that's ridiculous, and I think you're... I think that reflects extremely poor on the executive branch. To be 100% honest with you, I think it really does. If infighting is going to basically tank NASA, well, I have a problem with that. I'm pretty sure everybody here, if you're a U.S. taxpayer, should also have a problem with that, regardless of where you stand on things. That's not okay. That's really uncool. The president's supposed to be running the country. Right? He's the one that's supposed to make this decision, not anybody else. I don't like that. I have a problem with that. You know what I mean? Elon was the biggest champion of Rook. People in Congress didn't like what Elon did with Doge. And with Elon being done and going back to work, this was the best way to give him the bird. Yeah, I mean, Geek, honestly... Oh, I'm sure he's losing sleep about this at night. What are you gonna do? Screw his buddy out of being NASA administrator so he can't have his own space program? Don't make me tap the sign. Don't make me tap the sign. So what does that do? What does that do? Oh no! He doesn't have a guy that's his buddy in NASA. Oh. What is he going to do? Start his own space program? Oops. I heard about that, Admana. I'm not getting into that. Funny though. So, see what, yeah, don't underestimate the pettiness of them. Well, that just shows me that who's making the decisions up there? You know what I mean? I think everybody should have a problem with that. I mean, people have problems with that for different reasons, obviously. I'm not stupid, right? Now, it's funny because that's what you're going to do? That's what you're going to do? You're going to pull Isaacman and get back at him? Oh no. Oh no, now he just keeps going about his business. Oh yeah, you're really stuck it to him, guys. That's why I don't really kind of believe that. They did it to get back at Elon. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh yeah, worst case scenario here, he's got his captain back for the first crewed Starship flight. Oh no. Like, look, man, I ain't gonna throw it past Congress being that ridiculously petty about things, but that's pretty bad. I don't know. I think either didn't have the votes. I mean, no doubt it's political football, and we don't like that at all. That's stupid, especially when NASA gets caught up in it. It's so funny that people are kicking and screaming about this, if that's the case, who's making the decisions? Is Congress putting pressure on the executive branch? Is there infighting in the executive branch? Who knows? I don't know. Either way, it's pretty uncool. It's a crappy thing, but for some reason I'm not too bothered by it. Don't get me wrong. This is not a good thing, and I don't want to sugarcoat it. Maybe I'm being a little tempered about it, straight tempered about it, because everybody else freaked out, and I want to figure out what's going on, right? Isaacman's nomination was never popular, but Elon had too much influence when he was in the White House. They just happened to delay Isaacman vote until after Elon left. Interesting timing. We should have seen that one coming, Arsenal. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe. Either way, executive infighting, congressional pressure, Guys, yeah, we're kind of at a loss here. We don't really know what's going on. How does NASA move forward from here? Paul, I'm not gonna, like, don't get me wrong, this is a bad thing, dude, right? But I'm not gonna sound the alarms until I really see what's going on with who'd you pick. So if you don't want Isaacman, who is he picking? Who's your next administrator? I'd be very curious, because whoever you pick is going to be partially a reflection on why you got rid of Isaacman, why you pulled that nomination. I firmly believe that. Yeah, I firmly believe that we're only going to be able to tell based off of the nomination. Now, Eric Berger suggested a retired Air Force General Krast, I think is his name, as a potential for a nominee for another administrator. Now, there's no doubt. I mean, he cited the reason as being politically loyal to the president, which is fair. I mean, you don't necessarily have to agree with that. Like, I know a lot of people won't, but remember how hard it was for Jim, dudes. Remember how hard it was. People fought him at every freaking corner. So having somebody that is in direct alignment with the executive branch to carry out what he wants NASA to do is usually useful, right? Remember how long it took Jim to get in there? It was a big pain in the butt. Everybody, they stonewalled him at every single chance. He didn't get into NASA to start running NASA until like 2018, which is absurd. But like I said, Eric Berger's floated that. General Krast. I don't mind General Krast. I kind of looked into him. He's very, very pro commercial space, so it might not be bad. I'm serious. If he gets in there and he's really commercial space, like, all right, whatever. Cool. You'll just do what Jared Isaacman was going to do. I probably knew Jared would stir things up. Yeah, Stephen Quast is his name. There you go. Yeah, he's very, very pro space. He was in the Air Force from 1986 to 2019. Lieutenant General is what he got up to. Yeah, he's very pro commercial space, which is great. Guys, and I guess if Lieutenant General Krast got it, Quast, if he got in there, I wouldn't be too upset. He's going to do the same thing that Rook did, only he's more aligned or whatever that means. Not that Rook would have done a bad job. Let's be real. Janet Petro is now pandering to POTUS. Her posts are sus. Okay. Pro-commercial space isn't that great for SLS, though. No doubt. Yeah. EJ, as much as this sucks for NASA, in the long run, it may have been a bullet dodge for Rook. Yeah, X-Wing, I saw when you said that before. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to reply. Cody, I'm doing great, man, by the way. Yeah, you know, it's so funny to me because what's the right way to say this? I'm not going to be nearly as graceful as Jared Isaacman about this. I mean, okay, yeah, you really stuck it to the guy who has a MiG-29 as his personal transport vehicle, that has his own private Air Force, that did the first commercial EVA, and now hopefully it will get back to doing the Polaris program, right? And maybe even be the first person to pilot Starship. Yeah, I'm sure he's really upset about this. You know, like, I'm sure he's really mad. It's Starbase Live, Remo. Maybe one of the first people on Mars. Yeah. Oh no, he has to go back to doing that, to being a billionaire. Oh no. Like it's so funny because it kind of shows, like, if this is infighting or something, it shows how freaking stupid people are. Like, are you serious? Like, no, I'm gonna pull a Rook because Elon, I don't like you. Oh, I'm gonna hit him where it hurts. I'm like, bro, these people are billionaires, dude. Do you understand that they like, okay? Oh no, Rook has to go back to running his own private space program with Elon. Oh no. Oh no. It's funny. I'm sorry, that's very funny to me. You know? Oh no. Fastest Pro commercial, but really hates China and loves the moon. And this is Petro's post. Oh no. Either way, guys, I'm not gonna get this wrangled up into some kind of partisan thing. It's just funny to me. Like, personally, that sounds extremely petty, and I know that a lot of people want to believe that it's just infighting, or they didn't like Elon, or da. It could be. Yeah, it's a viable. That's a viable truth. But I also think that either an actual conflict of interest, which did reflect in the Senate, in the Commerce, Justice, and Science Senate testimonial meeting, potential conflicts of interest were uncovered, or he didn't have the votes, or the infighting was because of that. I think that is a much more straightforward solution. And I think there's as much credibility to that as, oh, Elon slept with Stephen Miller's wife. That's messed up if he did, but like I said, I don't know. We don't know, right? We'll probably never know. And if you have a problem with not knowing why, I would agree with you. I think that's ridiculous. You know. Hang on one second. We got a message. Might be important. Oh. All right. Would explain the black eye. Yeah, man. I mean, he said his kid punched him. I don't know if Elon would lie about that kind of stuff, dude. He usually is very. I think that's his problem. And why there could potentially be infighting. I think Elon's very honest. Like, dude, all right, you want me to be candid for a second? He's worth $419 billion. He doesn't care. He can just say what he wants. He has frick you money 419 times over. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think why would he lie? Why? There's no reason to lie about that, right? Like. And Dr. Gnome, how's that pertinent to what we're talking about? Please. He obviously does care, yeah, no doubt. But even he has an image he wants to keep. Oh, he has an image he wants to keep? Sure. Really? You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that? Who knows? Anyway, either way, guys, I think I'm not gonna really. I think, fellas, I think this is really going. We're really gonna figure out the This is not something that we're gonna know right off the bat. The potential gravity of this decision. I think it really depends on who's the next nominee. Who was in the hair plugs? Dude, he got those like 30 years ago, man. Yeah, Arsenal, there also could be that. I mean, that I don't think he understands that people, like, you just weigh in on whatever. But either way, fellas. Yeah, exactly, Sean. He's like at the top of the frick you money list by a long shot. Either way, fellas, Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try and pretend like this is some kind of good decision. I think Rook could have done amazing things for NASA. What I'm kind of worried about now is that NASA's budget proposal is not great. It's like a $4 billion reduction, with science getting the brunt of the big FU. And guys, like, I'll be 100% honest with you. I think people in Congress looked at that and said, no, we're not going to do that. The last time NASA tried to have the rug pulled out under it like this, Congress legislated a rocket into law. So there's historical precedent here. Go figure. We got SLS because of this exact same scenario. And I'm not really too happy with the budget proposal, but the budget proposal does reflect championing commercial space, which I'm not necessarily okay with that. You guys know how I feel about that. There needs to be parity. NASA needs to be doing everything that SpaceX is doing and then some. SpaceX should be the service for NASA, so to do things, right? But if NASA doesn't have their own space program, right? If they don't have their own space program that's doing its own thing independently of SpaceX, someone can come along and all the programs that NASA would be doing if they don't have one big integrated program, all those programs kind of get scattered to the wind. They don't really have any codependencies with other programs. No codependencies on programs makes things very easy to cancel. Case in point. Somebody will come along and will gut NASA because, commercial can do it better. Well, we could save a lot of money with commercial. This is why I always say, and this is why I go on a rant every time about Constellation and why getting rid of a national space program is an extraordinarily bad idea for the long term. We're going to get explosive commercial growth, hopefully not literally. Or actually, right? You'll get explosive commercial growth in the short term, but the long term is there's really no sustainability. NASA is the one thing that could keep your sustainability going there. You don't have NASA doing their thing. The entire space program is subject to the winds of capitalism, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It might be fine. Probably will be. I don't like probably will be. Probably will be doesn't work very well in the space program now, does it? I want our best foot forward. Right? So in that regard, I don't really like the budget proposal either. But once again, it's just a proposal, guys. There's no need to doom and gloom. There's no way Congress will let that fly. No way. In fact, I'll be honest with you guys, and we could sit here and say infighting or Elon slept with this person or didn't sleep with this person or whatever. We could say whatever it is. I think that's the reason. I think the people in Congress saw this budget proposal and they said, nope, not voting for this guy. And then I think the White House got wind of it and said, oh crap, it's not going to pass. We need to rethink things. Either that or they doubled down on it and released a revised draft budget proposal, which is exactly what they did. Whoops. It's not rocket science, dude. Don't rely on Congress to make the right choice. Always call your Senate. Yeah, now would be the time to do it, Grenaders. If you wanted to speak out about this, yeah, now would be the time to do it. I personally think that Rook would have made an amazing NASA administrator, but in the back of my mind, especially with this coming to light and it ending this way,
this is space. I'm in space.
I can't help but think that X-Wing, you might be right, man. You may have dodged a bullet here. Time to start learning Chinese. What are you talking about, man? Artemis 2 is not going anywhere. Guys, even with the gutting, that terrible, frankly terrible budget proposal, Artemis 2 and Artemis 3 are locked in on funding. When they happen, when will they happen? Don't know. But they're definitely going to happen. There's no way they're getting rid of it. I'm sorry, Congress won't let that happen, fellas. It's far more complicated than rocket science. It's politics. There's a guy particularly in charge of what happens when you email your congressman. 100% this. No one calls in. If no one calls in about NASA, no one calls in about NASA. So if your members all get their call reports at the end of the week, they see a random jump in NASA calls, they'll probably pay attention. Bingo. Now would be the time to do it. If you're in the U.S., give your representative or senator a call. Make a fuss about it. That's clearly what works. I said it before, there's a silver lining. If NASA can accomplish what it needs to on this restricted budget, at least Rook won't be taking the blame. Yeah, Shmimmeron. Yeah, that's what I mean. You want to take somebody as cool as Rook and subject him to political wins? In the back of my mind, man, I was like, okay. This could be a good idea. Yeah, if half of space Twitter that tweeted they were outraged by this called their damn senators, maybe we could make a little bit of a fuss. Now, once again, yeah, like, guys, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm bumming about this, dude. It's a big bummer. Rook could have done awesome things. I think Jared Isaacman would have been amazing. But let's look at the bright side, dudes. I refuse to be pessimistic about this. I refuse. Look. No one's going to give us Mars. You know what I mean? No one's going to give us the moon. The Apollo program had to fight tooth and nail to get it. We have to do the same. No one's going to give it to us. We got to be the squeaky wheel. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Everybody here, I know there's people here with that don't see eye to eye on politics, but we're still here. You know why we're still here? Because we like space. Everybody can agree on that. You'll go back to playing Ace Combat in real life. Yeah, they really stuck it to him, didn't they, Edmana? Oh, no! He gets to go back to flying his MiG around. Oh, crap! Oh, jeez. Oh, wow, yeah, you really stuck it to him, bud. Like, these people are so stupid. I hate politics so much, man. But unfortunately, spaceflight is intertwined with it, right? Like, I hate these people so much. Everyone. All of them. Or Polaris 2, or 3, or all. I was gonna say, it's gonna be really funny when Rook lands a Starship on the moon before NASA gets there. Oh boy. You'd be surprised how few people actually end up calling up and writing. It's 100% the avenues that individual can personally sway. Yeah, your representative. Call your rep. I'm serious. Call them. Write them a letter. Write them a freaking email. It takes 2 seconds. I think that the White House pulling Isaacman is a bad idea for space. Done. Sent. Boom. It doesn't take much. Or just call. I know. There's people out there that are afraid to make the call, afraid to call people, afraid to use your damn phone. Yeah, I called you out. This is important. Just pick up the freaking phone. Find your rep. Pick up the phone. Call them. Call the senator's office. Do it. It's not hard. Call your senator. Demand KSP3. Demand to see the senator's manager. Let life rue the day that was going to give Cave Johnson lemons. Dear Senator, Orange Rocket good. What do I say? Hey, I don't like your way of screwing NASA? No, say I think that this is a bad idea. You want to participate in the federal government, guys. You want to participate in government. You want to have your voice. You don't want to sit. You don't want to just sit here and be ashamed that, at all the decisions that are happening. Remember, you got to act like an adult. You have to be a legal adult to participate in politics in this country. That's important to remember. So carry yourself with grace like Rook would and write a letter. Say something. If you want to. If you don't. If I'm just your entertainment, that's fair. Whatever. All good, dude. Yeah, of course. Portal 2 reference. I honestly really wish that the Rocket Review could be like an audio only option so we can listen so you can listen while I'm working. Oh. Interesting. Write a letter to Ed Markey on stream. Remember how I said you have to conduct yourself with With grace, I'm not sure I could do that. I'm not sure I could do that. You know. Anyway, time to call Dr. C. That's right. Dr. C would be great. But yeah, guys, just, you know, if you're dooming and glooming about this, you know, I'm going to say something, all right? I'm going to say something. If you're dooming and glooming about it, don't. So first and foremost, I mean, this part isn't going to help. But first and foremost, this has been happening to NASA for 40 years. And I've been calling it out as best as I see it for the last 10. It happened with Space Station Freedom. It happened with it. Well, before that, it happened with the shuttle program, happened with Space Station Freedom, happened with DCX, happened with Venture Star, happened with the Constellation program, happened with Mars Sample Return, Viper, as of recent. This crap happens all the time. It happens. But here's the thing. Over the last 40 years, all this stuff is happening, and we just basically take the L. You take L after L after L, and you know what? It's annoying. This is why I talk about this stuff. However, we have an ace card. Starship, man, and Falcon 9. We have an ace card in the hole. It's not, trust me, man, it could be way worse. It could be way worse. If you don't feel good about this and you're bumming about it, I'm not trying to be like, well, back in my day, but dude, when I was a spaceflight fan, 15 years ago, shuttle got axed, Constellation got axed, commercial crew was a distant pipe dream. There was nothing. There was nothing but Soyuz. And now Soyuz isn't bad, but it was so sad not launching people to space from KSC. We don't have to worry about that anymore. As of 5 years ago, we don't have to worry about that no more. But, guys, believe me, it could be worse. It could be worse. If SpaceX didn't exist right now, I would be, like, in a mental institution. First time? Yeah, exactly, dude. It's that meme. You listing all these gutted programs as a rapid fire is not a good feeling. Well, I told you this part. I told you this part wouldn't be good. But like I said, guys, this could be way worse. This is not the worst hand that NASA or the space program in general has been dealt, believe it or not. It's not. It's pretty bad. It's definitely on the list of top 5 stupidest things that NASA or the executive branch has done pertaining to NASA. It's definitely top 5, but it's not the worst. Could be worse. It always could be worse. Because remember, we almost had nothing. And that really would have sucked. Eating cats on the moon. Yep. Without SpaceX, NASA would be still waiting on Starliner to be ready. That's right. That's right, Kirok. Worst hand that NASA science has been dealt? You have a short memory, Kristen. The science program and JPL, you can go read about this, in the 70s, almost folded completely. After the Apollo program went out, you know how much science funding went out the door? Because they wanted to make NASA into the service to move satellites into space. Well, the DoD wanted to use the space shuttle to move sats into space, and then NASA would get the scraps from the shuttle program. Oh, you have a short memory. Trust me, JPL almost folded in the 70s. You noticed how they really didn't start doing really cool stuff until like the 90s with the Mars probes and stuff. Like JPL back in the day did the Surveyor programs and Mariner and Ranger and all those other things, right? And then kind of didn't hear much from them through the 70s. Kristen, it can be worse. I'm telling you, this could be way worse. Yeah, there's Voyager, right? That's 1 or 2 every once in a while, right? JPL didn't really get up to where it is until the 90s. It took them a long time to reel from what happened in the 70s, you know? Like I said, it could always be worse. I just wish we didn't have to do this again. We're in for another decade of suck. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I don't think so. Like, guys, there's no way that budget proposal is going to pass in Congress. There's no way. It's not. Like, if it is, I will be the first one to tell you that I was wrong. I really don't think it is. I have jury duty next week. I hate this stuff. Okay. Could you please explain how recent events will affect NASA from a purely technological standpoint? Yeah, sure. The science budget is going to get croaked pretty bad if that budget proposal goes through. But it hasn't, Lava Eagle. It hasn't. So we're just back to where we were with stuff like Viper getting canceled. And basically everybody being in a holding pattern from a technological standpoint. Good news is that Artemis 2 and 3 are on no matter what. Even if this terrible... Oh, got a cramp in my foot. That hurts. Don't get old. I'm good. Even if this, frankly, terrible budget proposal goes through, Artemis 2 and 3 are on. We're still going to get to the moon. At the very least, we're going to get people near it. That's pretty cool. Oh, man. I have a footrest under my desk that I put my feet up on, and, like, my toes... Like, I have my toes up against the side of the desk, and they got twisted. I hate it when my Schwartz gets twisted. Anyway, guys, I really don't think this is the end. I'm not dooming and glooming. Oh, hello, Space Pope. Whoa, how you doing, boy? From a technical standpoint, NASA, if the budget proposal goes through, yeah, a lot of programs are going to get axed, and that's not great. I don't want that. Now, guys, I've said what I've always said. I understand the necessity for NASA's Science Mission Directorate. I'll be honest with you guys. I like the human spaceflight stuff. Personally, that's my favorite stuff. People on the damn moon, planting that damn flag. That's where my love of spaceflight comes from. Sending people up there, you know, pushing the boundaries of human exploration. Don't freak out. That can be done with probes, but it won't replace sending a guy up there with a flag, right? With all that being said, just because the Science Mission Directorate isn't really what sparks joy in my heart when it comes to spaceflight, it's still a vital part of the program. Even though I don't really like it, it's like, okay, another probe, that's cool. All right. There's no way people look at like the Sentinel-1 mission with the same reverence as like an Apollo mission. There's no way, or even a Gemini mission, or even a crewed launch. Crewed launches are the things that people look at NASA and say, that's NASA. They're sending people into space again. Not necessarily the probes. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because the probes aren't as popular in the public eye or popular in my eyes, right, doesn't mean that they're worthless either. So despite me I'm not really, like a climate monitoring satellite doesn't really do much for me, and it doesn't do much for anybody, right? You got to do the hard things so you can do other things, right? It's a vital part of the program. You have to. You know, that Earth observation is so damn important, at the very least for disaster relief and predicting storms and weather. That's really kind of important. Just because the satellite's there to monitor ocean levels rising doesn't mean that it doesn't also monitor the weather. The satellite can do both of those things. It's pointed in the right direction to do both of those things, right? I'm not gonna lie, I look at the budget proposal, I'm like, oh man, human exploration's okay, SLS is gonna be okay. But I can't sit here and pretend like the science budget that's good. That's not good. That's a $4 billion reduction. And the hilarious thing to me is that everybody's like, yep, we're being fiscally conservative doing this, boy. Yep, that $4 billion, we're going to save that. Oh yeah, that's great, boy. Dude, $4 billion is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket for the U.S. budget. That's nothing. Defunding NASA in this scenario under the guise of being fiscally responsible is like quitting soda when you have a heroin addiction. Oh, I stopped drinking soda. You got to stop those sugars. You can't have too much sugar. You don't want to get diabetes. Here, let me spoon it up. Like, oh, oh, yeah. No, you're being real healthy, aren't you now? Like, oh, you're being really healthy. Oh, look at that. You cut out sodas. Good for you. No sugar in your system. All right. Like, it's funny because everybody uses it as an excuse. Because it's an easy target. And that's why I always say the science programs need to intertwine. They need to be codependent so nobody does this crap. This is a case scenario to what I'm saying. Why you do not want to do this. Why you have to have these programs with JPL working hand in hand with your human exploration program. And it's funny because we know there's been infighting at NASA over the past 30 years about where our next destination is. There's been infighting about whether we should go to Mars or whether we should go to the moon. And some people think we should go to Mars, and then they fund Mars missions. And then some people think we should go to the moon and then fund moon missions, right? Do these people not have the wherewithal to know that you fighting against the people that disagree with you about where we should go next in space is going to wind us... We're going to end up with nothing. We're going to end up with nothing. Case in point, budget proposal. Look at that thing. We're going to end up with nothing. Be careful. This is why I always would... And, I know people hate it, right? Like, this is why I always made it a thing to mention this stuff, because... the programs don't commingle. Some politician is going to come along that needs a W and is going to axe NASA as low-hanging fruit in the name of fiscal responsibility or whatever type of political nonsense that they're into. We saw it happen with Constellation, and now it's happening again. It's hilarious. History is repeating itself. It's actually not repeating. It's rhyming. Hilarious to me. And I predict that, like Constellation getting axed, I predict that Congress will double down, which is exactly what happened last time. Because this is what always happens. Probably don't matter if I buy Firefly, turn off Osiris. They'll be fine. Xerax, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. It's not passing in Congress. Doesn't matter what letter you have next, what letter people in Congress have next to their name. Nobody's going to agree to a $4 billion loss in tax revenue in their congressional district because somebody wants to pull a NASA facility. You know how I know? Every single NASA facility that was created during the Apollo program, more than a half century ago, is still around. Weird, huh? Stennis, Marshall, Michoud, Kennedy, NASA Glenn, the Plumbrook plant at Glenn, Ames, Armstrong Flight Research Center. They're all there. They're all still around. Every single one of them. No NASA facility has been shut down. They're not going to because Congress defends them. I'm telling you, it's not going to fly. Even if you agree with the budget. Most of you don't. It's not going to fly, dude. This is different. We are currently in a constitutional crisis 16. You can say that, Kirsten, you can say that, but we're not. Like, I don't think so. Really don't. Like, what do you... Actually, there's only one that's shut down, the Electronics Research Center in Massachusetts. Once again, shows where our politicians' minds are at, NG, don't you think? Weird. Perseverance was awesome, though. Oh, no doubt. Yeah, that was awesome. Guys, don't... That was good stuff. Really, for sure, floating disc. But don't confuse that with... That's, Curiosity and Perseverance landing and Ingenuity flying around. Those are good news stories, and those are people that's high-profile stuff. What about the thousands of other, or the hundreds of other probes NASA's launched? No one gets hyped up for the Landsat 9 mission like they would Perseverance launching and or landing. Firstly, Hex recognized this. The budget proposal won't pass, dudes. I don't know why you guys think it's so surefire. Chevelle, politics aside, do you think it would have been feasible to keep the shuttle flying for certain missions, such as Hubble repair and reboost? It's a shame we had that capability and gave it up. I think the shuttle should have kept flying, Chevelle. I think the vast majority of people here all agree that it should have been flying at least until like 2015, 2016, when 2017, like when Commercial Crew came a lot more into focus to avoid the stopgap. How much money did NASA end up paying the Russians over 10 years? The Russians were charging $90 million a flight. How many astronauts did we send, dude? Like I said, as an idiotic policy then, it's a really idiotic policy now. Seriously, for the price that we paid in Soyuz seats, because the Russians jacked the price, because why wouldn't they? They jacked the price because it was the only way to get to the space station. They jacked the price up, and NASA just kind of bent over and took it because they didn't have a choice. For all the money that we could have spent, for all the money that we spent sending astronauts to the ISS on Soyuz from like basically 2011 all the way to like 2020, all the way till around DM2, right? Dude, we could have just kept flying the shuttle. I'm serious. The money almost pushes. I've done that math before. It almost pushes. It would have been enough to fund the shuttle out to about 2015, 2016. Do I support the president? Yeah, George, dude, you'll never hear my opinion about that, ever. I'm your entertainment. I'm your entertainment and your news. I don't have any political access to grind, nor would I grind them here with you. If that makes any sense. I don't think that's right, me weighing in. I think I have a moral obligation to the people that pay me to be objective. So, I'm going to be objective. With that being said, I'm not perfect. Some decisions NASA makes are just too dumb. They even test my patience. You know? It's very important to me that I don't disclose any of that to you. I'm just, you have my word that I will be unbiased in this. Okay? My only axe to grind is that spaceflight that we need to spend more money on spaceflight. I very much agree with like SpaceX's and how kind of Elon looks at this. Don't take that as an endorsement of anything. I think he's right. I think we have the technology to get to Mars. We've had the technology to get to Mars. Not utilizing that technology is asking for an extinction event, and I don't want to see humanity get basically belted by an asteroid. Right? I don't want Chicxulub. If another Chicxulub style asteroid hits us, we die. That's it. No more humans. Ever. No more nothing. Or no more everything. Do you support the NCR? Sure. Okay, so you do. I'm not entirely sure how you surmised that from what I said, but no, I don't support anything. I support space, dude. Chicxulub was the name of the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. Yeah. Who do you think would be a good new nominee? Mike Griffin would be my pick. Yeah, the guy that got the shuttle running operationally, and the guy that started Constellation. Some people might not like that pick, but I can't. There's an awful lot of boxes to tick here. You need somebody that's like, okay, I will speak candidly. This is not an endorsement. You need someone that ideologically aligns with the president. So you need somebody with an R next to their name. You need somebody that's gung-ho about space, and you need somebody that's really good at fixing these types of problems. Mike Griffin was George Bush's NASA administrator, George Bush Jr.'s NASA administrator from 2004 to 2009, and he did a pretty damn good job. That guy got the shuttle running reliably. Dude, if you can get the shuttle program running reliably, fixing Artemis is not that big of a deal. You know, like, that's not a big deal in my mind. Well, also championing the Constellation program. Mike would be my pick, but I don't think he'd do it. I think he's too old. Thoughts on the speculation regarding Quest? I don't know. Yeah, NG. See, the thing is that with the budget proposal with Rook being there, I know that Rook would have championed science, no matter who is, if it's NASA or private or public or whatever. I'm not sure about Kvast. I know Kvast is very pro-commercial space, but that doesn't spell very good things for NASA. Problem comes down to a leadership problem and a lack of vision. Mowgli, I would argue that there is a pretty clear vision with what the president wants to do. Obviously, he wants to champion commercial and go to Mars. He's very pro-Mars because of Elon. But for all we know, that could have flipped now. So, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. Sorry, I had to talk myself through that one. I've never understood... Like, NASA's a political... What do you think it would be like internal or something? Well, checks and balances, man. I don't really get behind the we need to back up humanity angle for spaceflight. That's a nice result, but for me, it's more learning to live in places that want to kill us. That will better our understanding of how to live here on Earth. I don't think that's a mutual decision, Moto Kid, but if that's how you want to rationalize it, sure, whatever. If you had to pick a Gen Z person for NASA administrator, who? I don't know. I don't know. John, yeah, I'm gonna pass on that question. Mr. Beast? Is Mr. Beast? Yeah. Wouldn't that be a pretty good one? I think Mr. Beast is part of my generation. He's on the tail end of the millennial generation. But I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're getting too far into the weeds. Chris and Meg's not so well-known brother, Stewie Griffin. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mike Griffin. Yep. Just got here. Any space news over the weekend? Nah, nothing. I choose me to be the next head? I do it, sure. I'll take one for the team, but I don't think I'm anywhere near the top of the list, bud. Kathy Leaders just left SpaceX. I heard she's going to be the new NASA administrator. Maybe. You want Jeff Daniels to be the NASA administrator? The guy from The Martian? I don't want that. What would you do, though? Hypothetically, if you put me in as NASA administrator, well, first of all, I'd be having a long chit chat with the president about my ideas and what I think needs to be done. Yeah. And if somehow we got to concurrence there, I'd basically be going around the horn to Congress. I'd go talk to every single representative and every single senator about what I think needs to be done. There you go, geek. Good for you. How about Sawyer? I don't know if Sawyer would be up to it, Dan, but if he did, sure. And what would that be? I don't know, man. basically going further into space. I would need to sell the idea of more SLSs. We need at least 4 SLSs a year for this program to be even remotely tenable. I've done the math many times. 4 launches will get you sustainably exploring the moon. In the meantime, you could pay SpaceX or you could pay Blue to work on Martian architecture, or if you really want to be good, if we really want to be good, this is like the ideal scenario. What we would do is actually use lunar architecture, or the lunar architecture. Take SLS and take your EUS, or give it a better upper stage, some type of higher energy upper stage, and make a gateway into a upper stage derived outpost like Skylab. And then make gateway into that and use that as a prototype transfer vehicle to do Martian and Venusian flybys in the 2030s. That's very easy. That is low-hanging fruit, to be honest with you. It's low-hanging fruit. Pick up where Apollo left off. 4 launches a year, 2 long-duration missions, right? With 1 short-duration mission overlap. Send the third one to build Gateway. Gateway is just a dry workshop or a transfer vehicle, like what the future versions of Skylab would have looked like with the Apollo program, right? Turn that into your transfer vehicle, send the first Americans to Mars, albeit on a flyby. It's a good place to start. And then a Venusian flyby as well. Have Americans be the first humans to ever see Mars with their own eyes. That could be done. It could be done, and it could be done by the 2030s pretty well, actually. Well, supporting a lunar base. Well, by the by, you let SpaceX do their thing and go ham on Mars. I had to stop the stream because the camera wasn't working, Hokey, but I did an auto stream this afternoon, so didn't really need the camera. I see Mars with my own eyes pretty often. I just look up for the red dot. Thank you for adding nothing to the conversation, S, as per usual. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I would have to sell people on this idea. I think it could be done. I'm a pretty good salesman. I worked in retail for a long time. And I don't think anybody in Congress is going to be against having, you know, oh no, this big space program is going to put jobs in my district. If you spread it all around, just like what James Webb wanted to do, you could easily make another program right now. No one, I don't. So 2 things are prevailing in my mind. 1, this seems like a very easy thing to do. It's very clear in my mind. 2, it's very clear in my mind, right? And this should be easy to do, but it's not. So we'll go to part B here, right? If it's very easy in my mind, either I have thought about this more than anybody else in this country about where we need to be going sustainably in space, and I have the one solution that's going to fix everybody's problems. Highly unlikely. Or 2, it's an extremely hard problem to solve. It's not an easy problem to solve. I'm going to go with this one. I think part B, 2. Point 2, part B, part 2. I think that it's probably a really difficult problem to solve and requires a Herculean effort to do it, but I would do it. I would try I wouldn't go in there with the expectation of compromise. That's for sure. Inefficient, but made part in every state to force them to capitulate. Inefficient. You just called the Apollo program inefficient. I would very, very much disagree with that. But SpaceX works on the Mars project. Bring Rook in as a commander. Yeah, that's pretty much it's probably what's going to happen, Sledge, to be honest with you. Why not do a flyby of Venus before Mars? Sure, that makes more sense. Do a flyby of Venus. Have NASA go look at Venus while SpaceX goes to Mars. SpaceX is already going to Mars, might as well. But if you're going to do a flyby of Venus, you should be able to do a flyby of Mars. That's not gonna. That's just a timing thing, dude. Is Venus really that easier, much easier to go to? No. It's about the same factor of difficulty, Sewer Rat. Venus is as close as Mars, but in the other direction. It's closer to the sun than Earth is. So, like, Venus is here, Earth is here, and Mars is up here. Mars is a little bit further away from Earth, but with orbital mechanics, you know, like semi-major axis, in this regard, doesn't really... Your SMA is going to mean you need a higher delta V transfer, but it's not that higher. It's not that much higher of a delta V transfer. It's not that much. Getting to Mars requires more characteristic energy. But if you're making something that can fly by Venus, you can make something fly by Mars with the same rocket. I want NASA to have the kind of budget to afford Heritage flight. Let's see Gemini in space again. I think they should, yeah. And man, they just let the commercial market do it. Here, you want to build your own Gemini? Here you go. But yeah. Isn't Venus's atmosphere acid? Yeah, that's why you'd do a flyby. Yep. 3.5 kilometers a second for a trans-Venusian injection versus 3.6 for trans-Martian injection. It's not a lot. Yeah, they're right next to us from a delta V standpoint. It's very easy to do. And then from there, you know, from your flybys, you could work on figuring out landing architecture for Mars, not for Venus. Don't do that. Maybe a space station around Venus, maybe, but no, you don't want to land there. Trust me on that one. You don't want to go there. On second thought, let's not go to Venus. 'Tis a silly place. Repost, how many deep space stuff do we got out there other than Voyager? Voyager 1, Voyager 2, Kepler K2, New Horizons, OSIRIS-REx. There's a couple more off the top of my head. Cloud City on Venus. I mean, we'd have to figure out that type of technology. I'm not sure how you're using SLS to build Cloud City on Venus, Xerax, but yeah, that would be a good long-term goal. You're not doing that with SLS, let's be real. I don't think you'd be doing that with Starship either. What do you think about Verstappen's terrorism on Sunday? I think the walls are closing in, and I think it's fun to watch, but I didn't watch the race, dude. I don't care. You guys are going to call me a piece of crap? I don't care unless a Ferrari wins. I really don't. And let's be real. Ferrari ain't winning anytime soon. So, I'll still... Dude, don't get me wrong. I'm still an F1 fan, but... And it's really nice to see somebody other than Red Bull or Mercedes winning. I will say that. I don't care. It's not Ferrari. I don't care. It's not Ferrari. I don't care. Is that messed up? Yeah. Yeah, I acknowledge it. I'm not a perfect person, okay? Just remembering the good times, man. I have a question. If Artemis would be dead after Artemis 3, I still think that's really unlikely. Why are they keeping to build a multi-billion-dollar structure ML2 at this point? Because politicians are useless, Bedojo. Yeah, they're useless. Their cancellation and funding doesn't work as fast as we think it does. It's slow. It's a slow and metered design on purpose. I don't think it will, with that being said. Like I said, dude, there ain't no... I really, really don't think this budget proposal is going to go anywhere. Not without a negotiation. I said this on Flame Trench a long time ago. Everything is a negotiation with the guy in the White House. Everything's a negotiation. That's like he says. That's what he says. Everything's a negotiation. So he lowballed NASA, and he knows that that's not going to go. But you lowballed them. They're going to ask for more funding, and at the very worst, NASA pushes, which is what I think is going to happen. How much does it hurt having a Sauber in front of Ferrari crossing the checkered flag? I don't think about that, Willian. I don't think about it. It's pain. Spain minus the S. This is why I don't care. It hurts. It's been 18 years, man. Oh my God. Ah! It's been 18 years, bro. in 18 years. Do something. How can you be this bad? You're happy because it was Hulkenberg. Yeah. I don't like Nico Hulkenberg. I think he's a solid mid driver. He's always been a solid mid driver. But he's from your country, so yeah. But then again, I like the Americans that drive an F1, and they didn't do very well now, did they? They suck, you know? Just give them $40 billion. It's nothing compared to your national budget. Well, that's always been the argument, Xerax. Like I said, saying you're being fiscally responsible and cutting NASA's budget is like swearing off sugary drinks because you have a heroin addiction. I don't have to worry about getting diabetes. Yeah, but you're addicted to heroin. That's not good. Yeah, but not getting diabetes. It's like, okay. What? What? The hell is a kilometer? Hey, Shadow Mask, it's going good, man. You can tell Hamilton is pissed from his radio chatter, dude. He wants to punch his engineer in the face, and it's pretty obvious. Yeah, don't you? I should. Please. Very nice. The H is cut with C12H2011. Yeah. Now, the country of Canada has apologized for Lance Stowe on multiple occasions. That was good, man. Surely this isn't the first time Canada's done something like this. Let's not forget about Lance Stroll. No. The Canadian government has apologized for Lance Stroll on several occasions. 18 years since Ferrari had a win, or since the Patriots had an inflated ball? What? Nice try. Try again. Lance Stroll slander has to end. Yeah, I know. And, we might hurt ourselves and have to sit a race out. Everyone knows the best race engineers come from Italy. Kimmy Dog, have I seen the Firefly post with the moon descent? I have not seen that yet, but we will look into it. It's like the new airman on the base and crippling debt on a 25% car loan buying a brand new Mustang. But he saved $15 on car insurance by switching to Geico. Dude, it really is. It's the E2s or the E1s, Aqualex, that are like, I just bought a Scat Pack Charger. It's like, I hate you. It's like, bruh, what are you doing? Stop it. When is the Rocket Lab launch? So we have a Rocket Lab launch that's full stream ahead in about an hour, dude. Oh dear. All right. What did you want to see? What did you want to see from Yannick Petro? A message from acting administrator. On 31st, President Trump shared that he intends to announce a replacement nominee for the next NASA administrator. Now, the Canadian government has apologized for Lance Stroll and has apologized for Latifi on several occasions. As the president has stated, our next leader will be tasked with executing the president's bold vision for space, including planting an American flag on Mars and aligning with national priority. Okay. In the meantime, it's your professionalism, resilience, and commitment to the mission that keeps NASA moving forward. We will continue to stay focused and deliver results for the American people as we await the president's nomination. Embrace the challenge. Oh, you're fired, by the way. Janet. I'm sorry. Sorry, having a little fun. Anyway, do flags not count if they're put there by robots? Yeah, that doesn't count. I mean, at least the guy still wants to go to Mars. That's kind of cool. The other thing from NASA Watch. Remember, Valtteri, I know that we made Lewis pass you and he won the race. I would make it up to you, Valtteri. I'm sorry. We did what's best for the team, Valtteri. Yeah, that's right. We did what's best for the team, Valtteri. Thank you for being there for the team. Oh, you're fired, by the way. Michael Altenhofen, who joined NASA from SpaceX in January, is the new NASA Deputy Chief of Staff. Oh. Oh. All right. Huh. Interesting. Interdasting. Huh. That's very interesting that he'd stay on. Dude. Alright. Bathroom thought. This isn't news. This is just EJ being weird. Can you imagine if they were like, no, not Jared Isaacman. We need Scott Poteet to be the next NASA administrator. Can you imagine? That'd be pretty funny. What, this one? Dude, like, I'm just putting it out there. That'd be pretty funny. Harry Grok, rewrite Petro's message in the style that Keith is suggesting. She's a master in the art of not reading the room, massive budget cuts, draconian personal layoffs, a well-liked administrator, nominee, bounce for intra-White House political food fights, and yet it's all don't worry, be happy on the 9th floor. Dear NASA team, I know you're all thrilled about the budget cuts and looming layoffs, but let's not sweat the small stuff. Oh dear. Nah, that stirs the pot a little too much for my taste on the stream. That's pretty funny, dude. I can read faster than I can talk, don't worry. Oh boy. Anyway, I think we've discussed this pretty well, dudes. I don't... It's not a good thing. It's not good pulling the administrator nominee like a couple of days before Senate votes on it. I've offered several, I think, completely logical explanations, but the truth is that we don't know. We don't know why this is going to happen. Or we don't know why this happened. Everything is hearsay. And while there are journalists out there with sources that are pretty damn good, you're not going to know exactly what went down. Long story short, dudes, this isn't the end. I really don't think it is. It's not great. It's not ideal, and maybe I'm just numb to it. Possibly. But honestly, dude, we got, like, this is going to sound so dumb, and I know this isn't the answer that people want. Dude. There. See that? We got that. Don't worry about it. Look at the replies in that thread, Baron. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, right. When people bring up Stroll and start with their statement, at least he's not Mazepin. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement for talent. Yeah. You know what Russian driver I didn't mind? I didn't mind Sirotkin. I think Sergei Sirotkin was a pretty damn good driver. There was one race, one time, where you saw him wheel, with people. Like, he actually fought for a position, and he actually showed pretty damn good racecraft. But then, yeah, nope, they got rid of him, and we got Mazepin instead. So, you know. Dang, I was really hoping for Scorched Earth EJ. Jared, dude, too many people are freaking out about this. Too many people are freaking out. I'm sorry, man. Too many people are going off for my taste. I think I try to look very logically into things, especially something like this. I try not to jump to conclusions. And you're seeing a kind of rare, very objective side of me. Dude, don't get me wrong, dude. I'm a little pissed, but it's not the end of the world. Like, this isn't ideal. The budget proposal, frankly, sucks. Like, to be candid, it's pretty bad, dude. But I see so many people freaking out. I see so many people blowing their top. And I'm like, whoa, 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 slow down. Slow your roll. Something. Let's make sure we're taking the pitchforks out for a very good reason. Right? You know, I don't get pissed unless about this stuff unless we're absolutely sure. Like, do you want to do that now? Is that the right move? Is it the right move for me to come up here and lambast the president? I don't think so. I really don't. Let's wait and see who he picks. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that that's a good idea, getting rid of Isaacman. I really don't. I think that was a huge missed opportunity, huge blunder. But it's not my time nor place to sit here and do that. I didn't do that with the last guy, and I won't do it now. Sorry for dragging you back onto the Discord during your detox. Don't worry about it, dude. It's all good. Yeah, Jared, with that being said, bro, I am really trying hard to be objective, okay? This is annoying, man. Ugh. But, once again, I see everybody else freak out, and I'm not just going to be like, too, you know? Like, let's think about this. Let's figure out where we're at. Right? Any ETA on a new nomination? No. Just to play devil's advocate, the administration was elected on a platform of making cuts and getting a country's debt under control. Isn't this just him delivering what he promised, which politicians of all stripes get lambasted for not doing? Yeah, you could play that. You could play that game, Badger. But their thing was to cut waste. I don't think NASA is a waste. And I don't think many U.S. citizens think NASA is a waste either. Would you agree? Bird. Starbase Live, Bird. I mean, dude, what if we get the Bridenstiner out of left field? Wouldn't that be something? May I send a link about something related to the collision of the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy that maybe might not happen anymore? If you get link perms from the mods, Wolian, go ahead. Scott Manley suggested that he may have felt protected by Elon, so after he walked, he didn't want to be director anymore. Shadow Mask, that's awfully weak, don't you think? Oh, he's not protected, so they're going to go after Elon's pick. So what? Elon can't have a space program? Guys, that's just real. That's a real weak thing to say. That's not going to hold water any more than coming up with a theory to say that they didn't have the votes. Hey, any mods? Can we get Wolian link perms? If not, I'll take care of it. There you go, buddy. I think he was more afraid of what he might be asked to do without being insulted. Yeah, maybe. Bring back Mountain Dew. That was a good time, Jared. Yeah. And what's Rook gonna do? Oh no, you have to go back to flying your own commercial space missions, actually flying things into space. Like, oh no, I'm sure he's very distraught. Like, yeah, good. If political infighting is what did it, that's not the own you think it is, dudes. You know. In the Starship clips, are the flames coming up towards the camera? No, they're going out. Yep. Elon was at the legal limit for serving as a special advisor. His walking away was required by law. Correct. Yep. I posted this when you first started today. Yeah, but you posted it while I was welding something together and then expected me to click on it when I had a welder and a mask in my hand. No, that's good. What is this? Oh, a sync of all Starship tests. That's cool, man. And Rick gets a pay raise. Like I said, guys, best case scenario, Rick reactivates the Polaris program. Polaris 2 is back on the menu, and then Polaris 3 is back on the menu. You guys remember what I think Polaris 2 is, right? Because Polaris 3 is the first crewed flight of a Starship per the original Polaris program. You know what I think Polaris 2 is, right? I think it's a Dragon getting sent up and docking with a Starship. I'm pretty sure that that's what that is. And I'm not going to eat my hat over this one because it's very likely that I'm wrong. I've been very wrong on the theory crafting over the last year or so. But I think Polaris 2 is Dragon docking with a Starship and potentially them having the first people inside of Starship on orbit. Link is 2 messages upwards. For decades, astronomers believed that one day our Milky Way galaxy would collide with Andromeda. Now, with the latest Hubble data and computer simulations, our galaxy's fate isn't as certain. Oh, that's neat. Cool. That's right from NASA. Jim, the NASA administrator, he gives okay for Polaris to repair Hubble. Yeah. Polaris is back on the menu. Yeah, guys, like I said, this isn't the worst outcome because we still got stuff like this and this. And this. And this. See last. What is your last? Your last is what? What? I don't know, man. I talk fast. Keep up. Can Jim do that? Jim would have to go through a Senate testimonial again, Gully. Polaris could also visit the VAST station. That's true. No, Alzer, that didn't happen. Maybe a little. I'll pass the word on, Brains. Oh, woof. Think we got to reboot Sewer Rat? Yeah. How long before a Polaris mission to Mars? We're a little ways off, Sledge. And that goes to that. Now, with that all being said, yeah, I mean, that's a good place to go. Now, remember, you know, Elon not being in the White House anymore with the president means that he is back gung-ho on SpaceX stuff, which, you know, I heard a lot of criticisms of him when he was in the White House saying he should just go back to doing SpaceX stuff. Well, now he has. And we did get an update from them last week. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Polaris is the new Artemis. Yeah, maybe, dude. Did they ever come out and say what happened with the latest Starship launch? Like, do they know what happened? No. They haven't said anything. Elon came up with the steel chair. Yep. So, here, let's just keep this footage going. You know what? You know what the best one of this is? I like this one. Northern Sky, 6-month resub. Thank you. He's got to pay a lot of catch up with that Tesla gig he has. Yeah, he probably should do that out there, right? But we, hey. Oh, that's so freaking cool, dude. I'm sorry. I'm geeking out. Flashbang through the door. Sprint to the finish. Oh, man. So, what did they talk about? Well, they talked about the next couple of Starship flights. Do you guys remember how me and Baron in chat got into it about, whether the Starship program needs to slow down or speed up? Well, apparently people at SpaceX think it needs to speed up, but put an asterisk next to that. Guys, Ship 37 is already at Massey's testing for the next flight. Yeah, William, for sure. This staging video is righteous. It's very cool. So, what's the gas releasing in the left middle part of the screen? Bleed lines for the motors. A leak ended up springing up here somewhere, but so guys, we're probably going to see, if I'm understanding what SpaceX was saying and what Elon was saying in that last meeting, if I'm understanding it correctly, we are probably going to... Oh, you get vertigo yet? Whoa, that's so cool. Look at the ship. No, that's legit, man. Right? So, we're probably going to see Flight 10 sooner rather than later. I'm talking like the end of this month or the first week of July, which is hilarious because that's my vacation. It might just end up being a vacation to Brownsville, but whatever. That's how it happens. I mean, it's probably what's going to happen. But I remember I said that there's an asterisk next to that there's an asterisk next to that quick flight succession, excuse me. I think Flight 10 and Flight 11 are going to come at you very fast. You know why? Because they're the last of the Block 2. It's the last of the Block 2 stuff. And this is the other question, aside from Isaacman, that I've seen asked a lot. Yum Food, you asked this question. Fortunately, I can read a lot faster than I can talk. I read chats. I read everything that everybody says. I just can't reply to all of it. I don't think my mouth is capable of moving that quickly. Too bad they can't fly on your birthday. Yeah. So, Ship 38 is there for Flight 12, too. So, I think that we're going to see Flight 10 and Flight 11 very quickly. So, probably Flight 10 in the next month. So, last week of June, first week of July, probably. Or, first week of July. And then, after that, and Flight 11 is probably going to be sometime in late July, early August. Now, here's the thing. I said SpaceX is trying to speed things up. I think they need... I said particularly that they need to speed things up because, taking your foot off the gas is going to screw your momentum. I don't necessarily think that that's what's going on. I will amend what I said before we had this new information. What I said was that I think they should keep aggressively trying to solve these problems, and if it blows up, right? What we also did kind of learn is that, the other thing that I did say is that I think these ships have mitigations because SpaceX is going to, SpaceX does mitigations when they're just trying to get something to work, not when they have the fix. I've often said, basically since Flight 7, that a fix is probably coming down the road. And like I said, this meeting with Elon was very, very, not my personal meeting, the Starship presentation after Flight 9 was very telling. Block 3 is coming. Block 3 Starship, Block 3 booster, Raptor 3, that's coming by the end of the year. Well, actually closer than the end of the year. So I think SpaceX is going fast with these flights right now, knowing that they might explode. They probably will. Or they're going to mitigate them. If they spin out of control, that sucks. Yeah, mishap investigation, etc., etc. I think the V3 ship, the V3 booster, Pad B, Raptor 3, I think that is all the fixes to all of these problems. Elon specifically addressed leaks when talking about Raptor 3, and he said that the wire harness is integrated inside of the structure of Raptor. So if there is a leak, the leak just gets sucked out the bottom and doesn't fry the engine, so they won't lose control. Now, that coupled with Raptor 3 eliminating flanges as much as possible and welding the whole damn thing together also eliminates potential leaking points, which means between that and the integrated electronics that they were talking about, that SpaceX is not looking to completely mitigate that leak problem, but they're looking to basically work with it, which is very interesting. That's very interesting. That's a very interesting way to do that. I think that's super cool. And I don't think that'll totally solve the leaking problems, but it does kind of explain why these ships, Flight 7, Flight 8, etc., are having so much problems. Flight 7, Flight 8, and Flight 9. Why they're having so many problems with it? Because these are all mitigations, because the real fixes are coming. You can't take Raptor 2 and retrofit it to be a Raptor 3. It's not, they're way too different. Almost the same almost a completely different motor. Hey, Leglander, thank you very much for the raid, buddy. How close are you to the end of space news? I kind of want to watch the VOD. We have at least 30 more minutes, Quarantine. I'm going to end with the Rocket Lab full stream ahead launch. Remember when I first talked about Raptor 2 leaking, chat called you a heretic. We didn't call you a heretic. We said you had no concrete source, which, you know, you kind of need, because speculation is for people that like living in fantasy land, Baron. I don't do speculation here. Unless I explicitly say, right? Like, you were trying to tell us that as fact, and there's no way to prove it. Now there is. Now there is. They've acknowledged it. So I don't know what you're talking about. You heretic. I mean, I do. Any plans for after hours? I haven't thunk about that yet, Dan. We'll get to that later. Heretic, purge the unclean. No, yeah, Baron, you were right. You were right. You were right. In all fairness, you were correct. Did you see the news about Lumina's electric bulldozer? How's the? I haven't seen that. Anyway, So, yeah, guys, I think we're going to see Flight 10 and Flight 11 come in very quick succession, and then I think it's going to take a second they retool. They have to get Pad B operational, and then they have to get enough Raptor 3s manufactured. So probably during August and September, we're probably going to see a little bit of a gap. Probably closer to the gap between Flight 8 and Flight 9. Couple of months before all the V3 stuff is manufactured. That's what I mean. I couldn't figure out what was coming down the pipe to get everything to work, but Raptor 3 does seem to be the thing. Like Raptor 3 and the V3 changes to the booster, etc., etc. Then we send one from the Cape. Oh man, is that going to be a good day, Lowe's. This is what I mean, dudes. This news with NASA sucks. But at least we got stuff like this, man. At least we got stuff like this. Starship program is going full steam. If not, it's probably going the fastest it's ever gone. It's going to be even better with Elon back at the helm. Look at that freaking booster turn. You've got to be kidding me. That's just look in this next shot. The shot from the booster. Look. Watch over here. Watch down here. Oh, man, that's cool. Dude, look at the ship over there. Look at the ship. Six burning. Oh, that is sick, dude. Did they address why the booster blew up? No. My guess is all it's ingestion, 619. Would you just look at it? Oh, that's pretty good, man. Would you just look at would you look at that? Would you just look at it? Would you just look at it? Oh, would you look at this? Yeah, right. Yeah, just look at it. Oh, would you look at that? Would you just look at it? A rumor I heard is that Starship started leaking like 30 seconds after stage separation, if you could spot it. Yeah, we saw it spinning around, dude. Which is interesting that the leak happened after the hydraulic shock of fluid stopping. Very interesting. That tells me that that's thermo that's doing that. Something cooled off or heated up and caused the leak. Interesting problem to solve. Looked like the failed relight and aero stress has ripped it apart. Well, Creation, if a Raptor engine ingests ullage gases, it explodes. Like SN11. Remember that one? Well, we remember seeing some fog with some Starship parts fall out of it. That's what happens. No, the frontage tank, if you look at it, notice the ship. Wait, what are you saying? Frick you, Baltimore! Challenge pissing. Compare the engines right after hot staging and right before Seacomb. You can see how the Sea Raptor is hot and sort of discolored in the left RVAC nozzle. Interesting. Yeah? Dude, that is... That's really cool. Like... Dude, those engines are sitting on that hot staging ring. Look at that thing. Dude, look at the clearance, man. Bro, look at the booster flip. Cole, you had it right, man. That's a 22-story building. It's just like, nah, I'm gone. Bye. You know, like, that's really cool, man. It's clean. It's cool. That's what I call high-quality hot staging. Roll the clip. Look at the ship. What clip? Well, who's they? What do you mean? What do you mean the rebels blew up the Starship? Yeah, the sea level engine. You mean like? Yeah, it's so cool, man. It's so legit, dude. Can't wait for the view with the new hot staging ring. Neanix, it is a vibe, isn't it, dude? It is sick. That new ring looks so good, man. I see it. I saw Scott. I saw Scott Manley say, "Struts, hot staging, grid fins on the first stage. Are we sure this isn't in one? You know, like, are you sure about that? You sure about that?" Here.
Yeah.
Launchpad uploaded the entire Starship thing here. Go.
All right. The gateway to Mars.
I just want to see the hot staging ring, dude.
That's the.
Oh. That's nice. The view of the ship, stage separation from the booster, is the first time we've seen the ship in space from a third-person point of view. We saw it once on a previous hot staging Daggerson, but the camera was not nearly as good as that, dude. That's the first time we've kind of seen the whole thing, dude. Do we have the size of them strut parts? Oh, those struts are easily the size of a softball, dude. About this big. So, probably like, let me think, 120 millimeter? Yeah, 120 mil, somewhere around 5 inches, 4 to 5 inches. They're big. Those are big struts. It's 9 meters across, dude. So that's just kind of an approximation. They're big honking struts. Video 2 from Super Heavy's point of view, 14 seconds in. Video 1 from ship point of view, last 5 seconds. You can see something is off. Of course something is off. We knew something. This isn't new information. We knew there was a leak over there, man. I don't know what you're trying to point out. I'm confused. I'd say close to 180 millimeter. Yeah, in your approximations, sure. Between flights 10 and 11, do you think we'll see much work on Pad A? Yeah, Comus, that's what Yum Food was asking me as well. I think you're 300 millimeter, Shorty. Got him. Anyway, I think we'll really start to see Pad A being retooled after Flight 11. After Flight 11, I think that's the last flight from A. Ryan, I was talking with Ryan Weber about this. I think that's right. Are those struts hollow or solid steel? Yanix, I would guess to carry the point loads here, they're probably solid. Yeah, that's probably, well, yeah, I would say solid for sure. Now, you know you're not allowed to talk about Scott Manley unless you'll use his voice. Hello, Scott Manley here. Today we're going to be talking about Elon Musk's presentation about Starship. Yeah, and it has a whole bunch of new Starship improvements that we're going to see probably over the next 6 months or something. Is that what you wanted to hear? Dude, Scott's gonna get wind of this and he's gonna be like, oh, frick that guy. You know? He's gonna get wind of it. He's gonna be like, I hate you. I'll be like, all right. You know? He's a good buddy of mine, dude. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, okay? I do it because I love that guy. Scott's awesome. Each Manley here. How funny would it be if Elon is doing N1 better than the Soviets ever did, remembering the Russians laughed him out of the country? I think it's more out of reverence for Sergei Korolev, Aqualux, but also, yeah. But also, yeah. I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe. I thought Scott joined the stream for a second. Sorry, Ethan. How many spare Raptor 2s do you think they'll end up with? I don't know, May. It seems like they're going to have a lot, though. What do you think they'll change to A? Now, a lot of people have suggested that they're probably going to demolish the great pedestal that we've seen the last 9 Starship flights from. No, I think they'll... I originally thought that they were going to refit the donut. They might refit the donut and just retrofit the pad for the new hold down points and quick disconnects. I mean, that would probably be the cheapest way to do that and just stick with the pad deluge system. I've seen everybody say that all the way to demolishing the stool, right, and digging a trench and putting another OLM over there. Maybe that's what we'll see. Who knows? SpaceX has been known to not modify the pad, though, in the past. They have the TE at Vandenberg in the same reaction frame that they've had there for a long time. Granted, it did get replaced in 2016.
This is space. I'm in space.
Surat gifted a sub to Scott Manley, 74. Hello, Scott Manley here. I'm telling Scott. All right. Something I forgot to say earlier. Maybe Jared was withdrawn because Orange Man wanted somebody you could do voice impressions of. Well, I'll tell you, that's probably a dang good hypothesis. But when it comes down to brass tacks, it's as easy as falling off the log into a gigantic bowl of pudding. And the proof is always in the pudding. What's more in character for SpaceX? Retrofitting what you have, Aqualex. That's what they did with Falcon 9. That's always been my argument. They could have scrapped that.
This is space. I'm in space.
They could have scrapped the Vandenberg pad, but they chose to not do that. So I think that's why they, in the name of getting the pad up working correctly, that they're going to just retrofit it. SpaceX needs more Starship pads. They need more Starship pads. The sooner they get Pad A up and running again, the better. And honestly, if that was the case, we would see another OLM for it somewhere. Don't you think they'd be building another OLM at Sanchez and Boca if they were going to refit the pad completely? Don't you think they'd just start making another one? We haven't seen that. See what I mean? You need the Zoidberg emote. No, I don't, my friend. Young lady, bring me a sandwich from the dumpster and leave the maggots on it. Rocket Lab is online. No, they're not. Yeah, they are. I just felt like saying they weren't. Anyway, Starship is going full blast. That the Isaacman nomination kind of sucks, but we're gonna we'll get over to Rocket Lab here in a moment. I just want to show you guys this. I can't play the music because it will claim the bot. So Vast is working on their final welds for the Haven 1 prototype. Now say supersonic retro propulsion like this. Oh. That's pretty cool, man. Vast. It's very vast. We're seeing space station modules come together really quick because, when expediency is key here, it actually gets done quickly. That's weird. Anyway, so guys, I've said my piece. Probably wasn't what a lot of you were looking for. But that's what I think, dudes. I think everybody's freaking out, and I think while everybody's freaking out, it's really important to take the time and make sure that we're looking at things objectively.
This is space. I'm in space.
That's really important to me. Anyway, we're going to stop space news here tonight with a rocket launch. This is the full stream ahead from Rocket Lab.
Frequent and
I can't play that. That's B-roll footage. I skipped this one, but I may go watch it later. Kate, I'm not sure you'd like what I had to say, to be honest. I would say skip this one. I tried to look at it objectively as I can.
This is space. I'm in space.
Oh, Aqualex gifted a sub to Scott, actually. Gifted a sub to supersonic retro propulsion. Thank you. I mean, Kate, I just tried to be as objective as I could. The bottom line is that I don't really like this news in particular, but everybody's going off the rails, and when everybody else goes off the rails, I tend to stay on them. Just to make sure we're understanding the problem correctly, Doesn't hurt to hear things I won't like or agree with. I was as objective as I possibly could have been. There's a higher amount of speculation as why, because frankly, the gist of it, Kate, is that we're not going to know the reason. We have sources. Infighting with the White House. My personal guess is that they either A, found a conflict of interest, or they didn't have the votes. Because who in Congress is going to vote for that budget proposal? Who in Congress is going to vote to defund NASA in their congressional district? That's not going to hold up. Absolutely not. That wouldn't hold up at all. Why would you do that? You may not have had the votes. It's possible. Or a conflict of interest. They did seem very, very particular. Ed Markey in the Senate Commerce, Justice, and Science thing seemed very particular about trying to find out exactly what Elon's role is in Isaacman being there. I would contend to say it's either they didn't have the votes, they actually found a conflict of interest, or there's infighting. I think it's one of those three. I don't know which one. We're probably never going to know. It's pretty crappy news. NASA's budget proposal will not hold up. We still have Starship, so it's okay. It's not as bad as everybody thinks. That's space news wrapped up in a nutshell. Let's watch this launch, baby. Now watch this launch. Now Long March 5.
Report on the ranger's readiness, and Launch Complex 1's ground system. The pad is ready for liftoff. All operators report up to the launch director in charge of operations, and today in mission control, our launch director is Julia Vembacher. Let's tune in now to the poll as that status update gets underway.
Now watch this drive. This is in New Zealand. This is the Mahia Peninsula, yes. And I do believe that this is their Rocket Lab's 65th mission. Yep. 65 Electron launches, baby. This is the 65th
and
mission.
Operators, LDL mission code. We are proceeding now with the go-no-go sequence. Stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Recon.
Recon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
Chat.
MET.
MET is go.
MM.
That's right, Batslop. Yep.
And LD sub.
LD sub is go.
The go-no-go sequence is complete. We are currently T-minus 11 minutes and 24 seconds and counting. We are go for the terminal count auto sequence at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the freebird procedure is in effect.
Very nice on the ears.
The countdown clock is continuing, and we are go for launch today for our 65th Electron mission. We are at T-minus 11 minutes and counting, squaring us up for a launch attempt right at 11:57 a.m. local time or 11:57 p.m. UTC. Now, if we need to delay for any reason, today's launch window extends until 2 more hours.
You're not a Kiwi.
And without mission a beat, it's full stream ahead for Black Sky's next Data with Destiny.
Stop it.
For today's 10th launch for our mission partners, we might be running out of toes, but not out of mission names.
Today's launch will deploy another Gen 3 satellite to orbit, which adds another 35-centimeter spatial resolution to Black Sky's imaging capabilities and improves on their already very high-resolution offerings to their customers. It's been quite a ride we've had with Black Sky, and today is no exception as we launch more of their spacecraft to orbit.
Speaking of launches, let's take a look at Electron on the pad at LC-1, our workhorse launch vehicle that puts the rocket in Rocket Lab. Electron is a 2-stage-to-orbit, liquid-fueled launch vehicle designed specifically for small satellite missions. It's made from carbon composite material, which is a strong but lightweight structural material that gives Electron that sleek black look. There are 10 Rutherford engines across Electron, 9 engines at the bottom of the first stage, and a 10th with a larger nozzle designed for space on the second stage. All 10 of these Rutherfords are 3D printed and electrically powered by batteries. With a 3D printed combustion chamber, injectors, pumps, and main propellant valves, Rutherford has the most 3D printed components of any rocket engine in the world.
Yeah, Sean, you're right. It's too bad that Rocket Lab has such a terrible launch site. I feel bad for them. Their launch site is not very picturesque, right? Right. Yeah, no, it really sucks.
Thanks to its onboard propulsion system called Curie, which has a miniature nozzle that's about the height
Oh, yeah,
of a
no,
small
it's
coffee
hideous,
mug.
right? Like,
Curie is highly
that
maneuverable
sucks.
and can deliver satellites to their targeted position within single-digit kilometers, which is just incredible
I've really followed Rocket
accuracy
Lab. What is their goal?
within the vastness of space when you're moving at more than 28,000 kilometers an hour.
It's 17,500 miles an hour, right? We don't do kilometers here, okay? But since you're in New Zealand, I'll let it slide. Anyway, oh, score, high def. So what's Rocket Lab? So Rocket Lab's another commercial launch provider, dude. They originally tried to get into the game by making small sat launchers, by making Electron a small sat launcher that was very easy to manufacture. And Electron is, for the most part, pretty dang good to manufacture. Rocket Lab, aside from SpaceX, dude, Rocket Lab is launched the most out of any commercial provider. This is their 65th mission. 7th mission this year. They're launching to the tune of once a month, which is pretty, like, we get spoiled by SpaceX. That's pretty damn impressive, dude. So Rocket Lab originally tried to make these Electron rockets that were very easy to make, low cost, easy to manufacture, fully expendable. And then they tried to reuse Electron by having it parachute down and picking it up with a helicopter. And that worked kind of good. They ended up they did end up reusing one of their first stage engines on a flight, which is actually pretty damn impressive. The only other person to do that is NASA and SpaceX. The only other people to do that, I should say. And New Shepard, if you count Blue. You can count Blue with New Shepard, technically, if you really want to. So they tried to do Electron reusability, and then they decided that they were going to roll out with their Neutron rocket. The Neutron rocket is their fully, partially reusable rocket. It is a rocket that's all made out of carbon, relatively easy to manufacture. It's made out of carbon fiber, carbon composite, just like that one is, just like Electron is. But Neutron will have a landable first stage. The cool thing about Neutron is that the payload fairing is attached to the first stage, right? And the second stage is hanging inside of a gigantic payload bay that's attached to the top of the first stage. So on Neutron, the first stage will launch with the payload fairing at the top. Payload fairing will just kind of open like this, shoot the second stage and payload out, close, and then the first stage will turn around and come back down and land. Pretty cool. Oh, speaking of the devil, there's the pad for it.
And availability, there are...
damn B-roll songs, dude. We can't listen. That's Neutron right there. See? It's a first stage with a payload bay and a payload fairing attached to the top. Dang it, no closed captioning available. So that's the new pad for Neutron that they're building in Virginia. That's Wallops Island, the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport. They're building Neutron's new pad down there. What does electronically powered mean? Well, it's got electronic fuel injection. The Electron rocket has 9 Rutherford engines in the first stage. Rutherford engines have electronic fuel injection. They have EFI, meaning they have an electric fuel pump that is supplying liquid fuel in the form of kerosene, or RP1, and liquid oxidizer in the form of liquid oxygen, supplying the rocket engines with an electric motor. So there's an electric motor with 2 fluid impellers that are feeding the injector plate. It, by every measure, is electronic fuel injection. That's EFI. That's that rocket right there. Yeah, that's what makes it electric powered. Your electric motors are your fuel pump. Now, how do other rocket engines do fuel pumps then? If these are the only guys using electric, a jet engine. Yeah. Think a very, 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 very sleek helicopter motor. Yeah. Other rockets use what's called turbo pumps. Okay. A turbo pump is a gas turbine, so it's a gas generator with a turbine blade, and that turbine blade is attached on a shaft to a fluid impeller, to a fuel pump. Yeah, they use jet engines, or well, kind of jet engines. It can't be it's not like a turbojet; it's a turbo pump. They use just a gas generator in the space of where the combustor and the compressor should be. The reason why is because your jet engine can't really intake any oxygen when you're 62 miles that way. So they use some liquid fuel and some oxidizer to feed the combustor on their turbo pumps. That's like how a Merlin engine on Falcon would work. This thing doesn't do that. That thing, Electron, has electric motors and batteries. The cool thing is that with Electron, they jettison the batteries. They do a hot swap, especially on the second stage. Second stage is carrying batteries, and when one battery dies, they'll jettison it to make the vehicle less mass, to gain more delta V. It's actually super cool. So Raptor's twin turbo. Big Pooh, how Raptor works, if we're going to explain Raptor in car terms, it's a stage combustion cycle. So the stage combustion cycle is, think about, you have your turbo pump that's feeding your gas turbine, methane gas turbine and oxidizer gas turbine. Those are feeding 2 impellers that are pumping fuel. That's your methane and oxidizer fuel pumps. And then from there, they're going through what's called a pre-burner. Basically, to explain it in car terms, it's 2 fuel pumps that are attached to 2 carburetors. And the carburetors have nitrous, right? And they atomize your liquid fuel in a very fuel-rich mixture, and they atomize your oxidizer in a very oxidizer-rich mixture. And then those carburetors go into a power head, and that goes into Raptor, and the highly fuel-rich atomized mixture, hits the highly oxidizer-rich atomized mixture. They hit each other. They shoot more fuel and more oxidizer into it, and then it explodes. Then they shoot that out the bottom. That's why Raptor is so powerful. It's stage combustion. They're shooting gases at each other, not liquids. It's better. It's easier to get atomization that way. Because if we're going to explain it in car terms, gasoline doesn't light on fire. Gasoline fumes light on fire after it's been atomized with the atmosphere. The fumes are what's flammable, not the actual liquid. Liquid is not flammable. Don't get me wrong, the liquid emanates fumes, so don't go throwing a match into a gas tank. That won't end well. But yeah, that's how a Raptor engine works. This thing has its 2 fluid impellers, and the 2 fluid impellers are attached to a giant injector plate, which is basically a huge plate with a bunch of fuel injectors on it. It's not like a bunch of fuel injectors like from a car. It hits the injector plate, and the injector plate kind of looks like a shower head, but it's a shower head that shoots... Shower head. Nice. It's a shower head that shoots liquid oxidizer and liquid fuel into the combustion chamber, gets them to atomize on discharge from the plate, and gets the explosion happening. You'll see that in about 2 minutes. Legit question. Does the hot swap jettison of the battery really make enough difference, or is it just to be fancy? Are batteries heavy, Geek? When's the last time you put a battery in a car? Yeah, of course it makes a difference, dude. Especially on your second stage. Mass fraction on your second stage is superbly important. Yeah, dude, it makes a difference. Even if it's like 10, 20 pounds, that's a lot of extra delta V. It's not Kerbal, man. Earth's gravwell will pull you back in if you're not careful. It'll pull you back in. Heck, you can make it to orbit, it'll still pull you back in. Because, you know,
Anti-geyser is disabled.
Atmospheric perturbations, gravitational precession, it'll still pull you in. Heck, the moon will pull you in. The moon has decaying orbits in real life. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Stage 1 and stage 2
Every
tanks
bit
are pressed for
matters,
flight.
man.
High flow engine purge enabled.
Absolutely. Geek, we're talking Formula 1 car levels of mass reduction. It's absolutely required. Here we go. 35 seconds until the full stream ahead launch from Rocket Lab at LC-1B at the Mahia Peninsula. This is Rocket Lab's 7th mission of 2025, averaging pretty much 1 mission a month. That's a little over 1 mission a month. That's pretty good.
T-minus
Electron
20 seconds and counting.
As a Holly sniper. Yeah, yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's EFI, man. It's
10.
Yeah, Sean,
9,
that's it, man.
8, 7, 6, 5.
Sound suppression
4,
system is on. Watch,
3,
because it's EFI,
2,
this thing, boom, see ya. Let it go. This thing's turned on real quick, right? Dude, the drone shot, man, the drone shot, yes. That's sick. Drone shots, so hot right now.
Getting metro
Drone shots. It's pretty good, man.
Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
The electric pumps uncharged really get it going quick, man. She goes fast.
Ahead for its 65th launch.
Love this rocket.
Soon
Love
we'll
this
be
little
at
guy.
maximum aerodynamic pressure as Electron continues to accelerate. And that max Q moment will be called out by the launch operators in mission control soon, so let's listen in.
Kind of looks like an ICBM. It's kind of the same size as one, Dago, but this ain't a missile. It's a rocket, right?
Electron is supersonic.
Here we go.
Approaching max Q.
Yeah. And
High
Sean,
voltage battery discharge nominal.
Sean, over in the YouTube chat, dude, look at how ugly that place is. I feel so bad for them.
Cleared max Q.
Maximum dynamic pressure.
Confirmation
Shots
from
are
Mission
better.
Control. We have successfully cleared max Q and
That's
are
right,
on
Yuri.
track to
You
reach
got
the
it,
next
dude.
milestone, MECO, or main engine cutoff, in approximately 90 seconds. We are now traveling at 2,500 kilometers an hour and have reached an altitude of 22.8 kilometers and climbing.
No, Electron isn't that
MECO on
rocket.
Electron
Flight
requires
station.
3
Different
critical
company.
actions to occur.
Guidance is nominal.
First, the 9 Rutherford engines on the first stage, which are currently powering Electron,
2.
will shut down as scheduled. Second, the first stage will disengage and separate from the second stage, falling back to Earth. And then third and finally, the single Rutherford engine on the second stage will ignite and continue to propel Electron on its mission to orbit. Let's listen in for those calls from mission control.
Now, Geek, think about what I said.
Stage 1 propulsion holding nominal. Stand by for MECO in 30 seconds.
Think about what I said about mass for your second stage. Now think about Starship or the space shuttle. You know, the space shuttle barely makes it into space, dude. Barely. Like
15 seconds to staging.
That design is so close to not working.
Entered burnout detect mode.
Here we go. The clock is about 10 seconds behind from what I can tell.
MECO confirmed.
There it is. Stage separation.
Stage separation confirmed.
Good sep. Textbook,
Stage
baby.
2 ignition confirmed.
Textbook. Now you see that thing right there? That's the battery. That thing will get
The
jettisoned in a
comms
second.
are in from Mission Control confirming a successful MECO, Stage SEP, and Stage 2 ignition. And everything continues to look nominal for
See
Electron.
that down there? See the tip of that
We are
peninsula?
now approaching
That's where they
fairing
launched
jettison, where you should be able to see Electron's fairing halves split and fall away after they separate.
from. So I think
Now
they're
that we're
lithium,
through
but
the
I'm not
thick of the
sure.
atmosphere, we no longer need this nose cone to protect Black Sky's satellite. So, to save us carrying
Yeah.
dead weight, we jettison them
Launched
ahead
them
of
right
payload
there.
deployment.
Guidance is nominal.
Watch out for those fairings on your screen shortly.
Yeah, you'll see them over here and over here.
Fairing separation confirmed.
There it is. That's the satellite right there. Lots of
There
billet.
go the fairing halves, and from this view we can get a
Stage 2
good look at
propulsion
Black
nominal.
Sky's Gen 3 satellite
HVB
integrated
structure
onto the kick
nominal.
stage, exposed now to the conditions of space. Looks like the Black
Hey,
Sky
that's my
team
line.
wrote a welcome to space message on their satellite as well. We are now reaching a velocity of over
That's a hi,
8,800
Mom.
kilometers an hour, passing through 138 kilometers in
That's
altitude.
awesome. That's pretty cool. Such aluminum machining. Wow. What's up, Midge? Seriously, how do they find anyone that wants to live there? I don't know.
We've
man.
talked about how Curie is famous for its spot-on payload delivery, but what about the journey there?
Oh, I do that too, right?
That's where our GNC, or Guidance, Navigation, and Control team, comes in. The GNC system onboard Electron processes a continuous stream of sensor data about the rocket's attitude or orientation, its altitude, and a whole bunch of other things right to the flight computer, which checks how far off we are from the planned flight path and makes tiny adjustments via the Rutherford nozzle positions and the Stage 2 reaction control thrusters.
Stage 2 propulsion holding nominal.
Electron is the pioneer of many
I'm not
firsts,
sure. I think it's the
including
bleed
the
lines,
first
Baron.
battery-powered
The
rocket
shadow
engine.
from the bleed
batteries
lines.
powering the engine on your screen are our third-generation high-voltage batteries, or HVBs. The batteries were redesigned from the ground up, including new cells, internal and external structures, and internal logic, but have been made to be a fit-in replacement for the previous high-voltage batteries.
Ground stations are
Much
doing
like
it
a
right
lot
now,
of
brains.
Electron, the
Guidance
external
is nominal,
structure is
200
carbon
seconds
composite
remaining.
and keeps the batteries pressurized because of the high voltage inside. The batteries also have better performance, meaning we now need fewer on stage 1.
And now it's time for a power shuffle with the hot swap of those Gen 3 HVBs up next.
Yeah, watch. This thing will get yeeted off. There's another one on the opposite side.
Throttling down.
HVB discharge holding nominal, approaching hot swap in roughly 30 seconds.
Keep an eye on that.
Hot swap successful.
Bye-bye.
Battery jettison confirmed.
They'll burn up. Yeah, they're not making it back
Stage
down.
Mission
They'll go
control
up.
there with confirmation of a successful hot swap.
I think that's
We
just
are
the
now
lens,
6
Baron. That's
minutes
happened
and
before.
48 seconds into the mission and traveling at 15,700 kilometers per hour.
We've seen their cameras do this before. It's something with artifacting, but it does look a lot like burn through. But it can't be because it was over here a second ago and now it's not. I mean, if we were getting some type of burn through, you'd get a huge performance loss, and you'd see the trajectory line. Oh, she's lofted. Dude, props to Rocket Lab for putting the telemetry up. Ooh, that's a lofted trajectory. But the terminal guidance system is compensating for it. So watch over there on the right. What I'm trying to tell you is that the dotted line is where the rocket is. The red line is where it needs to be. And the guidance system is compensating by making those lines converge. If you look, that's cool, man. That's really cool guidance, navigation, and control. I mean, a lot of rockets do that, but I can never show you because no one ever puts their telemetry up like that. Do you see it compensating? That's cool, man. That's really cool stuff. I think this is just a camera artifact, guys. I think it's just the lens flare. Ooh. Yeah, if something was really wonky with this motor, you'd see differential fuel percentages here. Yeah, it looks like she's getting a little wobbly. Watch your hand, dude. That thing is hot. Oh, damn, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, good call. Is LOX supposed to go down faster than kerosene? I think their percentages are adjusted for fuel feed rates.
Check for the mission. We are now reaching 23,000 kilometers per hour with an altitude of 205 kilometers and climbing. That means we're nearing the end
Mom.
of
Hi,
the
Dad.
second stage's
That's awesome.
journey with second engine cutoff on the horizon. During SECO, the single Rutherford engine will shut down, followed by the separation of the kick stage with its Black Sky payload into a transfer orbit. Let's listen out for that call.
No,
now.
I didn't, Snickers. Do you want me to? Didn't welding teach you nothing? Sorry. Yeah, it was just camera artifacting. There's SECO.
SECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
Show it.
Nominal transfer orbit achieved.
Good. 27,468 at
Mission
203.
Control has just announced yet another flawless SECO and confirmation that the kick stage has successfully separated and has entered its coast phase around Earth. That was the most energy-consuming
That's
part
their
of our
third
launch
stage,
over with,
Flecken.
but we're not done yet. The coast phase will last approximately 40 more minutes or so before the kick stage gets ready to light up its Curie engine and change its trajectory to a circular orbit at 470 kilometers above Earth.
For now, we're going to take a quick break while the Curie engine travels around to the other side of the globe. For the next 40 minutes or so, you can track the mission's progress around Earth with this tracking animation. After we return, we'll run you through a little more detail on the innovative Curie engine and its payload deployment for Black Sky's Gen 3 satellite. We'll see you back here shortly.
Oh, this is space. I'm in space.
Lego gifted a sub to Cub fan 135. Galactic Surfer had a 46-month resub. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Actually, if it's Timmy's music, we'll be all right. Yeah, Rocket Lab plays Tim Dodd's music. If it's Timmy's music, we're fine. That's good. That's fair. You can see the full camera on Curie here, also the full payload. Oh, yeah, they did post this a second ago, didn't they? Oh, yeah, there's that camera, and there's the hi mom, hi dad thing right there. Curie is this white thing. This white piece right here. That was on top of the second stage. That camera, we wouldn't have seen a good separation anyway. That camera is on the third stage. Curie is basically a payload attachment fitting that Rocket Lab decided they wanted to be an upper stage for their rocket. Yeah. Payload attachment fitting is usually an adapter that adapts the second stage mount to the payload, right? And it also encapsulates the payload fairing. Rocket Lab said, oh, let's make that a third stage. So they did. Yeah, they just put rocket engines on their PAF. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's the gist of it. Novaraptor retrieved ad time. All right, what do you want? I rolled 17, Novaraptor. Let's see what you got. $12. Oh, that sucks. Damn. Whammy. I'm pretty sure the PAF is built in a modular fashion so that you can add propulsion comps and power in an a la carte fashion. Cyberg, that sounds right. Don't quote me on it. To be very clear, Curie is not like they didn't just take a PAF and they were just like, let's put engines on it. They redesigned it to work as a PAF, but also as a third stage. It could be, I think it might be a la carte. You might be right, but I don't know for sure. We'd have to check the payload user's guide. Either way, thanks for the stream. Been waiting for it all weekend. Thanks for the clear-headed POV. I'm gonna head out. Shift starts soon. Got some ion engines to mount on a payload. Baron, keep the faith, dude. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Like I said, man, the most sustainable way forward is to have NASA achieve parity with SpaceX. If that doesn't happen, we still got SpaceX, so it's not all is lost, man. But it's all hey. It's easy to be a space fan when everything's going right, dude. It's hard to be a space fan after this weekend, isn't it? Remember, difficult things usually are worth doing. I'm keeping my head level just because everybody else is freaking out, dude. Jack didn't take it too well. He didn't take it very well, dude. Last weekend, Slackster. Go pop back earlier in Space News, dude. You'll figure out what I was talking about. As a Bruins fan, you understand. Why you gotta bring that up, man? Why you gotta bring that up? Difficult things are usually difficult. It's hard to do difficult things. That's what I was trying to say, Jordan. But yes, exactly. Don't worry, you're a Texans fan, so I get you. Yeah, okay. As a Ferrari fan, you know this too well. Or a Ferrari. Why you guys gotta go kick me when I'm down, man? Jesus. I'm trying to be good here. Don't you go bringing up the Red Sox, or the Bruins, or the Celtics, or the Patriots, or the Revs, or Ferrari. Shut up. Shut up, man. Why you gotta bring that up? Looking forward to Flame Trench? Right on, man. Rip Boston sports team. The Patriots... So, I'm not going to say the Patriots are going to do good this year. What I will say is that the Patriots might not suck this year. Is that fair? The Red Sox are... They're doing something. I'm not sure if it's called winning baseball games, but they're doing something. Circling back to my question, the rocket that could fit in the Connex blocks. Yeah, everybody that it's tried to do that has either gone bankrupt or pivoted, Flykin, so that question it's not really applicable anymore. I heard EJ getting roasted from my TV and logged in to say my condolences for being a Bruins fan. Man, frick you, Ivo. Came out alert just to kick me in the face. No, you could be a Tigers fan. Hey, the Tigers are doing good right now, dude. It's that manager. The manager is... I intend to be a real baseball team. That's pretty good. It's easy to be a sports fan when things are going well. It's easy to be a space fan when things are going well, dude. That's just how it is, man. They are a team that exists. That's who we're at. I'm amazed we're above 500. Look on the bright side. Ferrari's doing better than Piss Drink. And Red Bull made a real Ferrari strat call late on. That was a call. And what Max did is a maneuver. I wouldn't call it a smart thing, but hey, whatever. Could be a Calgary fan. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm going to choose a team from Alberta. I'm picking Edmonton. That and I like Winnipeg too. Not that they're playing right now. I like Winnipeg because their logo has an F-16 on it. Well, it's a CF-16, but whatever. Whatever. That's still cool. It's an airplane. I like those. We always have to leave it this space. You must leave it this space. How do you make a Starship HLS in KSP? Yeah, I would start with scaling it, Andy. So, I would get the dimensions for HLS, and then I would do 2/3 scale, and that'll get you Kerbal scale. Kerbal, like, you think of the average person is 1.5 meters. Kerbals are 1 meter, give or take. That doesn't hold up exactly. That's what the devs used. All right, that's what Felipe used. I have it right from him. So 60% scale would be your running scale for making a scale akin HLS in terms of performance and everything. Should be good. Would this orbit be considered polar? It's looking mighty close. It's a sun-synchronous orbit, Flykin. Have you tried Out of Ore yet? No, I haven't. In fact, in the time I've been doing this stream, Yuri, somebody has recommended Out of Ore in a DM. It's a CF-18. It is a CF-18. You're right, not an F-16. It's still cool though. Still cool. Still cool. That's a pretty sweet logo. Mine looks like a wagon wheel. Bruin's logo looks like a wagon wheel. And don't get me wrong, it's a pretty damn good wagon wheel, but it's not a freaking fighter jet. You know what I'm saying? Never really understood what sun synchronous means. A highly inclined retrograde orbit that uses Earth gravitational precession to fly over the same spot at the same time every day. It's basically using Earth's wobbly axis to move the satellite so it images the same. It goes over the same thing at the same time every day. 97 degrees for a retrograde orbit, Cyberg. Yes, that's correct. So kind of like Geo. No. Geo is 23,000 miles that way, Flykin. If you want to try... Out of Ore. In multi, I've got it. It pretty much just run it once. I think we should keep playing Roadcraft. I want to get my money's worth out of that game. Holy crap. Brian, there's a message in my alphabet cereal. It says, oh. Peter, those are Cheerios. Oh, crap. Roadcraft after hours, then? Alright. Alright, fine. Keep going with our save. Have you made Electron in KSP? No, never needed to. Actually, we made the Imahara rocket, which is probably the closest thing to Electron. Is that KSP? Tig, it's Rocket Lab. The payload is coasting. We're going to payload deploy, which should be in another 20 minutes. Ninjaneer, I talked about it, dude. Yeah, beginning of this VOD. It was the first thing I talked about for Space News today. I didn't go off. I didn't get angry. I just called it, reported the news, called it like I see it. It's not good news, but it's news. It's not good news. Ninjaneer, the gist of it is that a lot of people say it's been infighting with Isaacman, dude, right? A lot of people say it's infighting. In the White House, a lot of people say people did it to get revenge on Elon Musk, which I don't know. That I'm not sold on that. I mean, maybe it's possible. I'm not sold on it though. The reason why I'm not sold on it though is because you remove Isaacman, you remove Isaacman to punish Elon Musk. Why? Well, okay, you know, it's an easy target. You're getting rid of Elon, you're getting rid of it because you want to stick it to Elon. The guy that's worth $419 billion and quite actually has its own space program that in the next 5 years will eclipse NASA's own capability. Oh yeah, you really stuck it to him, didn't you, pal? And guess what? The guy that they just outed as that they just got rid of as NASA administrator is probably going to be flying the rocket that surpasses NASA's capability. I don't think that's the own you think it is, right? So I don't think that's what's going on, dude. I think it's a conflict of interest, or he didn't have the votes because not enough people in Congress agree with the president's budget proposal, which is terrible for NASA. Honest opinion. More like in boxing. You know, if that wasn't that freaking funny, dude, I would time you out. But that's pretty funny. So, Spartan, I think a much more objective thing would be to suggest that, you know, in the Commerce, Justice, and Science Committee meeting, the people that voted no were all worried about a conflict of interest with Elon Musk. They may have found one. And he may not have gotten the votes. That in the budget proposal is literally guts NASA. No congressperson is going to vote to gut NASA from their own congressional district. That's not happening. Case in point. Almost every NASA facility since the Apollo program still exists. That's not happening. Unless there's some crazy historical precedent that I haven't taken into account. It's very unlikely that budget proposal will pass. Yeah. Impotence has never stopped people from being petty in the past, nor will it do so in the future. I mean, Cider, you know, like, if that's the case, like, yeah, that sucks for the White House, dude, but this isn't a channel that does commentary on the White House. This is a channel that does commentary on spaceflight. Isaacman, in this particular regard, if infighting is the reason why Isaacman's nomination was pulled, as X-Wing over in my YouTube chat just said, he dodged a bullet, and that's better for us as spaceflight fans. Because worst case scenario here, he goes back to doing the Polaris program. Oh no. Yeah, you really stuck it to Rook though. Yeah, you can't be NASA administrator. Now you have to do the absolutely soul-crushing thing of flying your frigging MiG-29 around in air shows. Oh no. Oh no, you're twisting his arm here. Oh no. You know, right? Like, oh no. Oh no! Oh, poor Rook. You know, like, I think we'll be all right here. It's a crappy situation to be very clear, but I think we'll be okay. No, Mikey, no, that is so not right. No, you really stuck it to him, bro. Yeah, he's just gonna ride off into the sunset in his own personal fighter jet. Oh yeah, you really stuck it to him. Good for you, pal. Oh no! Anyway, he's gonna lose so much sleep. I know, right? Ah, it's terrible. Oh no! No, Mr. Congress. Yeah, don't throw me back into my MiG. Are you sorry? No, Congress, no. Like, all right, okay. And it took me a long time to get through, like, space Twitter freaking out about this, which is why I didn't say anything over the weekend except to confirm that Rook was not there anymore. That was the only thing I was like, oh yeah, we should probably report that. But I held my tongue to gather my thoughts. You know, some people did not take this news very well. A lot of my colleagues did not take this news very, very well. Not that I'm taking it well, but I'm trying to be the voice of reason here. He's gonna go cry in his hangar surrounded by the largest private air force, right? Exactly, dude. I don't think this is that big of a deal, man. The people I worry about is the NASA employees' collective knowledge who will let leave. No doubt, Wisp. I've warned about that many times, dude. Absolutely. I don't think that budget proposal will fly. It won't. I really don't think so. I will be the first to tell you that I'm wrong. If that budget proposal goes through, I will be amazed. Man, I will be freaking amazed. You have to comfort Jack on Friday. Jack did not take that very, very well. Yeah. Yeah, I should probably reach out. I'm worried about the loss of institutional knowledge. Guys, this is going to sound so screwed up. The time to worry about NASA losing institutional knowledge is 15 years ago, when, like, a good chunk of it went out the door into the aether because they canceled Constellation and shuttle program. You know how much that screwed science missions in the long run? Not only that, but if there's no human exploration operations program, if there's no human exploration program that these science missions are supposed to be corroborating science for, that makes the science missions extremely easy targets to pick off if they're not performing very well. Simultaneously, if the Human Exploration Operations Mission Directorate program is not performing satisfactorily, people will cancel science missions because of underperformance. Viper. Gotta be careful with this stuff, dude. I would argue that ship's already sailed, Durg, but... And that's... I don't think anybody wants to admit that, man. Now, you're very much right to be sure that we will lose whatever institutional knowledge NASA has left, but... Nobody wants to fix the problem. Everybody wants to mitigate it. And as much as I love commercial programs, and that's been our saving grace here, dude, I would be in a mental asylum if we didn't have SpaceX right now. This would be a catastrophically bad thing for NASA. And it is, right? As much as that is, we can't rely on the commercial program all the time. The commercial program is how NASA got to this kind of gutted thing in the first place. The incessant drive for commercialization will be NASA's undoing. I've been saying this for 10 years. We can take solace in the fact that something like Starship exists, because I have a personal theory, and I guess I should have probably said this, but I have a personal theory that because SpaceX exists and NASA programs aren't just being thrown into the void, because SpaceX exists, this will provide some justification for NASA to exist as well, as backwards as that sounds. Yeah, Sean, exactly. Yeah, he might slip in Diablo rank. Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, of course, Christian. Venture Star was something that would have been amazing. Aeronautics and space moved to the Air Force and the Space Force, and NASA could go to the Department of Education. It's possible, Aerospike. I don't think that would particularly be a good idea. I personally really don't want to see the VAB abandoned, you know? We've been fighting this garbage since 1969. That's correct. And Hellfish, it's insane to me that no one has been able to call it like it is. Everybody says that, oh, NASA's broken, NASA's broken, NASA's broken. And for the longest time, the solution to that problem is, well, commercialize everything. Well, commercialize everything. Not really understanding that if you tip the scales too far in one direction, NASA will become fodder to basically shut down due to lack of performance. That doesn't inherently fix anything. That just commercializes our space program, and now we're beholden to Elon Musk to go to the space station. Don't get me wrong, I don't particularly mind SpaceX, right? But now you're beholden to them to go to the space station. If you're beholden, NASA, with their current program, the way it is, they're beholden to them to go to the surface of the moon. I don't think that's wise for NASA to be beholden to a corporation to get to a certain place. I don't think that's smart. And like I said, no one's willing to call it like it is. The problem is that NASA really doesn't have any underlying goals and is completely inept. It's just a bunch of people fighting for table scraps for funding because no one has had an overarching goal. Nobody's had the stones to do what President Kennedy decided to do 60 years ago. Actually, it would have been 58, but now 60. It would be the other way. It's 62 years ago. Could be worse. It could be beholden to Russia. Sure, of course. It's been broken since your coronet was built. I know. You can see what happens if you take away NASA by comparing the mail delivery market to the telecommunications market. Yeah, Uncle X. I don't think that's a good idea. And I like private space programs. I like SpaceX. I like Rocket Lab. I like Blue. This is great. It's a freaking renaissance of commercial space flight. Still don't, you know what really it is? I'm paranoid from all this NASA stuff over the last. I've been studying NASA history for years, 15 years of reading about this almost every day. And the one conclusion that I've been able to come to, reading about Space Station Freedom, the Space Shuttle, Venture Star, DCX, right? Constellation. Reading about all this and all these times that NASA got the shaft, it's never going to be enough. I will not compromise on what I think about space. I'm not going to. We've been compromising since Apollo, and that doesn't fix anything. It doesn't. That doesn't fix nothing. Your coronet is the cause of all things wrong with the space program. It must be exercised. I'm exercising all the rust out of it. What do you want? Teague, but I'm beholden to the Massachusetts Turnpike Authority to go to Worcester. Hopefully you're not going from inside of 128, dude, because it's down to one lane because of the construction. I had to drive through that nonsense yesterday. They're fixing the 95 128 90 interchange. They're fixing the bridges there. Traffic is down to one lane on one lane going in each direction on a typical 8-lane road. Just end it now. Just end it now. Now, granted, the bridge that they're building there is quite cool, but yeah, it was not fun sitting in that traffic. But then again, there was an A-Team van that I was cruising next to that I gave the horns, and yeah, pretty awesome. Wasn't the Big Dig supposed to fix all this? The Big Dig was a step in the right direction, Sewer Rat, but the big problem with Boston is that we have no inner beltway. There's no inner beltway. 8 lanes, just one more lane, bro. The Mass Pike is I-90 in Yenix. That's a federal road. Federal roads are usually huge. When you get into metropolitan areas, they're usually big. And that's what I mean, guys. What is the Big Dig, Will? Oh, it was a major infrastructure and construction project in Boston in the 90s, from the 90s into the 2000s to redo some of the inner city highways to alleviate congestion. It pretty much worked. If alleviating congestion is just taking the congestion and putting it underground where you can't see it. No, the big problem with the Big Dig, dude, is that they didn't take into account that the Big Dig is going to cause influx. You have a very quick and easy way to move around in the city, so more people are going to use the roads. It's quite actually the reason why adding more lanes to a highway doesn't necessarily fix the problem. You created a huge thoroughfare. It's very easy to get in and out of the city when you're coming from certain angles. Because of this, more people are taking this easier route, and less people are taking trains. So you have these nice new roads. They're 20 years old at this point. You have these nice new roads. You built all this stuff to fix a bunch of highways, and now you just get traffic jams underground where you can't see them. You know who's the prime contractor on the Big Dig, dude? Bechtel. You want to know how over budget it went? $12 billion. Source, my uncle worked on it. Not for Bechtel. Yeah. You know the uncle that helped us use the backhoe to pull the bed off of Ernok's truck? Oh yeah, he worked on that. He worked on the Big Dig. Just saying. Sorry, I know people are talking about rockets. The satellite's coasting. We're waiting for them to get to finish it up. And then I think we'll play Roadcraft after that for after hours, dudes, if you guys are cool with that. No, Rocket Lab plays Timmy's music, Vert. It's pretty cool, man. No, Teague, don't get me wrong. The Big Dig absolutely did help. What they didn't take into account is that the influx that it would cause is just going to cause more traffic. So instead of it alleviated traffic for a little while. And then everybody figured out that it's a really easy way to go, and now it's clogged up again. It's influx. It caused influx because it's an easier way to get places. So it's easier to get out of the airport, for instance. Because of that, more people fly into Boston because you can get out of the airport a lot faster than take other means, right? So it causes traffic. That's why the tunnel's always jammed. Tip O'Neill Tunnel's always jammed. 93, always jammed. Believe me, I've studied this. If you don't know me, guys, I'm a huge loser. I like reading about this stuff. Like, this is my favorite thing to read about. That and space flight infrastructure, obviously. The MBTA estimates it would cost $24.5 billion to bring its metro and commuter rail system into a state of good repair. That includes the red, orange, and blue subway lines. Oh, don't get me started about the MBTA, sewer rat. Being a nerd isn't a loser. Yeah, that's true, Staphos. You're not wrong. Roadcraft sounds good to you? Sweet. I remember as a kid seeing the Big Dig Future project at the Boston Museum of Science. Yeah, I learned to drive in the city, Will. When I first started dating Brimo, and the first time I went to Detroit to meet her parents, Bree's like, "Do you want to drive? I don't like driving in the city." I'm like, "I got this. Don't worry about it." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And I navigated like right to her house, right? Because the roads go north. Dude, Detroit is a grid. The roads go north, south, east, and west, and you have an interchange every like quarter mile. Every 1,300 or 400 meters, it's just a grid. She's like, "How did you do that?" I'm like, "You do not know the hellhole where I learned how to drive. You have no idea. This is easy compared to it." You're not wrong, dude. I learned to drive in Manhattan. Yeah, yes. Learning to drive in Manhattan will also help. When I drive around in New York, I know what to do because driving in Boston is pretty much as bad as driving in New York. It's the same crap. New York just has more of that crap. Honestly, take a look at Out of War. You may be more excited for it than Roadcraft. It's possible. Sure. Yeah, you do just fine. Oh, Tessa, no doubt in my mind, dude. I can navigate London. It ain't no problem. I can drive around. It would take me a second to remap my brain for opposite sides of the road. I know because when I went to Japan, it took me a second to remap everything, and then like after a day, my brain just went, and I was like, oh yeah, other side of the road. Got it. I remember moving into my college apartment. I dropped all my stuff in an F-350 down Peterborough behind Fenway. Yeah, I know where that is. Right on, man. Tell us about the wonders of the MBTA. The reason why it would be so expensive, Sewer Rat, to refit the MBTA is because the red, orange, green, and blue lines and the purple line, the commuter rail that's operated by Keolis, all use different consists. Blue line cars are not compatible with green line cars. Green lines are not compatible with orange. Orange not compatible with red. Red isn't compatible with anything. Some use overhead rail. Some use third rail. Some use no rail. Some are diesel. So now, because of that, you need multiple maintenance facilities for the green, multiple maintenance facilities for blue, for orange, for red, and the purple line, which is the commuter rail. You need 5 times the maintenance facilities that you need. Over, we need more red line trains. Here, let's paint a red stripe on this blue train and send it over there. That's why. We're paying for 5 different maintenance facilities. For 5 different types of locomotives that literally do the exact same thing. Some of the green line consists are from the 60s. Yeah, they look like something out of Workers and Resources. No joke. If you know, you know. Oh yeah, the Silver Line. Yeah, the Silver Line's a bus that goes through a tunnel. Yeah, the SL2 and SL1 Silver Line's real. Good call. So what would it take to scrap 4 types and settle on 1? Rule 8. Why does the Montreal subway use rubber tires instead of steel wheels? I don't know. Are they all the same gauge? They're all Stevenson, yes. They're all Stevenson gauge. Yes, that's correct. The freaking Silver Line. I hated that. That's the only way to get to the airport. We don't have any trains that get anywhere near the airport. The only way to do it is to transfer to a bus that drives into a subway tunnel that we call mass transit, but it's not. Yeah, it's not. So question, if I come to visit, would it be possible to take a train from the airport to your house? And if so, would it be faster than you driving to and from the airport? No, it would not be faster, Geek. You could get relatively close. You'd have to take the Hingham Greenbush line on the commuter rail, so you'd need to get to Subway Station, or you'd need to get to South Station. So you'd need to take the Silver Line to South Station, or the Silver Line to the Red Line to South Station. Make sure you time it right, because South Station is the commuter rail. That's not mass transit. That runs on a time scale. And then you'd have to get on the train that goes through Hingham down to Greenbush and Scituate, which is still a good ways north of me. Although you could take the Plymouth line. The Plymouth line is near my house. Everybody knows I live in Plymouth, guys. Don't worry about that. At this point, everyone knows. Yeah, Surat, don't worry about it. Stop triggering you. Sorry, Will. Yeah, Geek, if you timed it right and were able to get off the subway and walk right onto a commuter rail train and get out, it'd probably take about an hour and a half. The car takes 30 minutes. 45 minutes, 45 to an hour, if there's the worst traffic around. So no, taking the train is a complete waste of time. But if you like trains, it's cool. Okay, well, never mind then. Yeah. I'll show you the next time you're out here, dude, if you want to see. We should be coming into a ground station here momentarily. See those two blue dots up there? Those are your ground stations. It looks like they got one in the... What are those islands out there? Canaries? And it looks like they got one in Madrid, which... Yeah. Azores. That's right. Canaries are over there, right? I always get them confused, dudes. And I'm a geography nerd. That always messes with my head. So many trains missed after the Bruins game. Oh, dude. Stop. Stop. Yeah, like I said, Surat, that's the problem. And so... The politicians won't change anything because status quo, dude. That's the real thing. Yeah, all the they won't go after him because all the railroad maintenance facilities are all unionized. So they can't go after him. So we're just stuck with 50-year-old rail cars with 20 different maintenance facilities for 20 different types of trains that do literally all the same thing. I mean, but it keeps jobs, and that's what, at the end of the day, that's what politicians want. So, I mean, I don't know. You hate it, you like it. I don't know. I'm just telling you what's going on. To be fair, the commuter rail is privately run. It's run by an organization called Keolis, and the new guy that the MBTEA hired, named Philip Eng, he's actually pretty good. He's fixing things, which is actually pretty rad. Philip Eng was the previous CEO of the LIRR. If you're a train nerd, Long Island Railroad. Is that a TARDIS? It's a satellite on top of a third stage, but it does look like a TARDIS, doesn't it? You know, they expanded the Fitchburg line, and it only took them 30 years. Yeah. Funny thing, EJ, in the trailer, Out of Ore specifically pans over a view of a bunch of excavators and road graders in one of the shots. And you guys keep earworming me with that damn game. Now I have to go play it, dude. But then again, we are doing Locked In June, so I'm trying to stream more this month because I'm gonna take the first week of July off, dudes. That's my job detox. That and Christmas. So we're gonna go locked in June. They actually dig. Oh.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Welcome back
Ah,
to
here
our
we go.
full stream ahead mission for Black Sky on Electron's 65th
Nice.
launch. Today's mission soared into the skies at 11:57 local time from Launch Complex 1, Pad B, just 47 minutes ago. Electron breezed through all of the usual launch milestones like max Q, MECO and stage separation, battery hot swap, and then SECO and kick stage separation from the second stage, placing the kick stage and its payload into an elliptical transfer orbit of Earth.
The team in Mission Control are eagerly waiting the next milestone, which is Curie engine ignition. We've got a burn of just under 3 minutes today, and then 45 seconds later, we'll have Curie shutdown and then payload deployment of Black Sky's Gen 3 satellite. Ignition should be coming up in just a few moments, so let's throw it over to Mission Control and listen for them.
Here we go. Something's going on over there.
Curie ignition confirmed.
Confirmation from our operator there, successful Curie engine ignition. Now, the Curie burn duration is always an approximation, and that's because Electron is basically running itself. From T minus 2 minutes all the way up to payload deployment, the rocket is flying autonomously. Our extremely talented team programmed the flight computer to deploy the payload exactly where it needs to be. They'll work their way through making sure we have enough propellant at the various stages of flight, including the Curie burn. Running Monte Carlo simulations gives us various outcomes based on the parameters we set, but these are just simulations.
Curie cutoff happens precisely when it needs to, which today is approximately 51 minutes and 29 seconds after launch. Like Hannah said, the kick stage knows exactly where it needs to go and exactly how it needs to get there, and it's all up to the computer to make decisions based on the parameters we set. While today Curie will demonstrate our pinpoint accurate payload deployment record, it's been a very busy engine recently, proving out our spot-on re-entry missions with our Pioneer spacecraft, providing a perfect round trip to space. It was our second developed engine, also 3D printed like the Rutherford, and it joins our full lineup of 3D printed engines, along with the new...
I'm turning them down. Something's going on. People don't usually stand up and put their hands on their face in mission control, nor do a bunch of... If you see a bunch of people crowding around a computer, something weird's going on. We got another person putting their hands on their face right there. Over there, over there, over there. That guy doesn't look particularly happy. Something weird's going on here, dudes. Got a bunch of people crowding around a console, something weird happened. Now, something weird doesn't necessarily mean something like anomalous that's going to ruin the mission. But, you usually don't get people standing up like doing a Gene Kranz over there. Like, oh crap, how do we fix this? But yeah, see, they're explaining something over here, and I'm not sure, like, see, there's a bunch of people crowded around a station. That usually means something's going weird. See what I mean?
Curie cutoff confirmed.
Nominal final orbit achieved.
There we go. Confirmation from Mission Control. Shutdown of the Curie engine means the payload deployment is up next. In around 30 seconds, we'll deploy the next Gen 3 satellite as part of Black Sky's Earth observation constellation.
People don't look happy. Just saying. He's looking at us. Oh crap! Do you think they know? Think we're onto them? Did he wait? What did he look at us?
Shutdown of the Curie engine means the payload deployment is up next. In about 30 seconds, we'll deploy the next Gentry satellite as part of Black Sky's deployment confirmed. Welcome back to space to Black Sky, and all the best with commissioning your next Gen 3 satellite in the coming days. That's our 10th mission complete now for Black Sky, and 2 for 2 on Electron launches for the constellation this year, though certainly not the last.
A huge congratulations to both the Black Sky and Rocket Lab teams for making this achievement possible. Hot on the heels of our previous launch just over 2 weeks ago, we promise there's plenty more to come. Stay tuned to our social channels to find out when and who will be launching next. But until next time, this is Rocket Lab Mission Control, signing off.
I'm not convinced everything went as smoothly as they're saying it did. Dude, they all looked up at the camera and went, you know. They never showed the deploy, Vin. They never show that. They always show the computer graphic. Someone had you on mobile. They're like, oh crap, you noticed something's going wrong. Cut the cast. Cut the cast. Either that or they're watching. In which case, yeah, I hope everything went well, dudes. Didn't look like it, but yeah. Well, turning on Rocket Lab notifications. Yeah, see those guys over there, they think something's wrong. Shut this off. Shut this off. That, like, none of the people in that control room looked happy. That's usually, at the very best, it's neutral, but half of them are doing this. If you've never watched rocket launch casts with me, dude, we've been able to accurately predict a mission failing before they announce it because the amount of people in mission control doing this or this or this or this. I'm like batting 1,000 with this. I always did it, dude. It always is a dead giveaway. They heard you were talking about the MBTA and wanted a word. Yeah, that's mostly your fault, though. You may have set me up. Silly question, but what is this community leaderboard thing? Dan, I have no idea, dude. That just showed up one day. I have no idea what that is. I have no clue what that means on the YouTube chat. Yeah, exactly. We've been able to see many failures to him. It doesn't matter. Also, you should buy that RX-8 if you passed up that Fox body. I saw what you said. Did you catch Firefly's new video of the Blue Ghost landing? I think that would be a good thing to cap space news on, shall we? How about we check it out? No music. Dude. I'd take the SN95. It's pretty sick. Absolute cinema. This is footage from the Blue Ghost 1 mission, Ghost Riders in the Sky. Firefly posted some high-def footage of it, and man, is it cool. No, Kuro, there's no vacuum chamber big enough. The biggest vacuum chamber is the size of the damn Starship payload bay. Oh, man. Greatest mission ever accomplished? Dude, Firefly really just came out of the woodwork and like, yeah, of course we're going to land this on the moon. Why wouldn't we? What, is it going to fail? No, it's not going to fail. It's going to land. It's like, sure, you never done that before. And they're like, yeah, don't worry about that. We got it. When's the next moon landing? The Hakuto RM2 mission from iSpace is the next thing to land on the moon. SN95, Doom. If something breaks, it's easier to fix. Just saying. You blow the engine on an SN95, motors are a dime a dozen. You blow the 3-rotor, It's a 3-rotor on the RX-8. You blow that, good luck finding parts. Expensive. Oh my goodness. A little bit of drift. A little bit of drift. Smooth it out. Look at the regolith propagation. God dang, that's cool. You know what makes me really happy about this? That looks exactly like Apollo 11. It looks exactly like it. It looks exactly like it. It's exactly the same. Yeah. So, Moonhook's people in shambles right now. Neil did it by hand. Phantom, can you believe that? Melon Farmer was playing Kerbal before Kerbal, manually taking down a rover or lander. You got to be kidding me. It looks exactly. The propagation, the lighting, the displacement of regolith, it looks exactly the same. So suck on that, moon deniers. How you like that? So why don't you suck on that? Don't worry, they'll come up with a reason. It's fine. It's fine. But dude, that's awesome, man. Really good footage. Really good stuff. Oh, also regarding Firefly, see the first tweet though. The perfect thing to end on is this. No. You missed the part where I just said the Firefly thing is the perfect thing to land on. Some of you get a perfect thing to end on. Some of you didn't get that memo. Interesting. Cash me outside. How about that? Bruh. What's Elytra? Propulsive test vehicle, dude. Firefly's next thing. Unfortunately, the V6 Mustang was junk up to 2011. Yeah, but it's a good vehicle to learn on if your kids are driving it, Doom. Having the neutron fairing on stage 1 versus stage 2, because how each stage affects payload adds actual payload to orbit, right? You really ideally want to get all your mass off of the second stage. The less mass your second stage is, the better. Should NASA be the company to build the HLS Starship for SpaceX to launch to the moon? No. NASA should build their own lander. If I had my way, they would build another LEM. People are going to sit there, well, you do this 50-year-old technology. Obviously, they'd build it with new technology. Just build a modernized version of one. People are going to look, you need a Saturn V for this. So build that too. You telling me you can't do that? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay, fine. Put a better upper stage on SLS and do it that way. The theory your best friend has a Mustang Mach 1. Want to know what's truly funny? I hate YouTube shorts so rad I refuse to watch them on stream. Saturn 6.9. Now Saturn 9. Did you catch Don's announcement on Friday before last? You want an Aurora? You can buy one now. No, but that's super cool. Just waiting on you. All right, guys. That's going to do it for Space News. I'm going to take a quick break to just change the titles and everything here. And we're going to play... Careful, your boomer is showing. How so? How so, Sawyer? I want to hear it. How so? Pit stains and everything. Awesome streams. Thanks, Jeff. Your bald spot? My bald spot is not showing. I have a hat on. Nice try, Zoomer. I didn't look into it any more than the other day, Ethereal. I spent time away from my computer this weekend for really good reasons. Oh, because of watching, not watching YouTube shorts. It was the part 2 of the Apollo landing with an Albertan accent. Oh, God. I watched part 2 a little bit later. I'm sorry, short form content makes my head go bananas. I don't like it. But that's the thing, dudes. That's the hustle. I don't do that. I don't do that short form crap. We do long form content here, dude. All right, guys. Let's play some Roadcraft. I'll see you in a moment. I'm gonna jog the YouTube VOD. You guys know the drill. Change the name on the Twitch VOD, and yeah, let's. Do I really want to play Roadcraft? I don't know. Nah, Tessa stayed up. I probably should. All right, Dino. MSC is on Wednesday, and we play Workers tomorrow. You don't have to if you don't want to. I was actually thinking get up early and keep working on the Coronet. I want to make more forward progress on that now that I got the welding tank and all the steel. So if you guys don't mind, I might dip out instead of playing Roadcraft, and then tomorrow get up early tomorrow morning and do an auto stream, then games, then space news, and then after hours, if you don't mind. Can you see the northern lights right now? I don't know. I'm inside. It's fine. Early start. Lowe's, is it bad if early start is making me not want to play Workers? Because we did all that work in the Yakograd. I don't want to start another damn Republic because Yakograd isn't finished. Is it bad if I'm just like, check it out? Acolytes, it's been linked to me 1,000 times, dude. You and probably about 300 other people, slight exaggeration, have linked me the trailer. It's all over my Discord, dude. Thank you, though. I got it. Completely agree. If I go play Workers and we play Yakograd, people are going to wonder why we're not playing early start. If we go and play Workers and play the early start, people are going to wonder why we're not playing Yakograd. And then I have to sit there for like a week straight and answer that question every 5 minutes. I've played this game before. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We'll keep working on the car, and then we'll play some games tomorrow as well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed Space News. This is going to do it for the Space and Rocket Review. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good night. And thank you.